good at, yeah?
Hosting.
Hosting? All right, yo. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Next Podcast. I am really excited to get down to it today. And not only that, but our buddy Dreadpool has decided that he's going to hang out with us this Saturday as well. Everybody is getting a double dose of Dreadpool on Next Podcast. Dread, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. So today would be the 3D
3D.
double dose Dreadpool?
Yeah, 3D. It's just not a 3-peat because we didn't do it back to back to back.
No, not yet.
But it's 3D. Brother. Good to have you on again, bro.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yo. All right. As you can see, I'm going right into the intros, guys. I want to get into the topics. Yo, Lady Foxfire is in the chat. What is up? Skit Eastwood, I saw you, dude. It has been a while. Good to see you, brother. Jazzy, what is going on? Is Elemental Pio in the chat? I don't think I saw him. I'm hoping to see him today in the chat for this show. I hope he's here. But next on the line of intros, I got to go to my brother. Yo, bro, you had to deal with family things last week. You weren't able to make the show. It seems like everything was going good. Shout out to your daughter, by the way, for making it through. It seemed like that was an insane surgery. But yes, Predator is here. What is up, Pred?
Yeah, man, I was out last week. My daughter, if you guys didn't know, she has scoliosis, so she had her back that the rods put in her back last week. And I was actually really proud of her, man. She took it like a champ, man. Like she was up and moving around by the end of the week. Well, she had surgery Friday and was up moving around Sunday, and I was really shocked because she's not the type of person that's tolerable of pain. And so to see her up and moving and, not complaining and stuff like that. I mean, she's really happy. She gained about 1.5 inches. I think I sent you guys the before and after pictures in the chat, but I'm proud of her, man. She came out of that and she's home playing video games right now. So happy to be here, and happy Father's Day to all you guys that didn't know how to pull out. And, hey, hope you guys enjoy your Sunday and enjoy the podcast today.
That is a long list of guys, by the way. So I'm just saying, man. It's good to have you on. Again, shout out to your daughter. Yeah, you showed us the x-rays, man. That seemed absolutely incredible, the before and the after. So huge shout out to her. Yo, the day after, it's moving around and stuff, man. I know you definitely got to be proud of that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it was slow. Like, I think she had surgery Friday. She slept pretty much all day Friday and most of Saturday. And then by Sunday morning, man, she was sitting up and, walking to the bathroom and stuff. Not up by herself. Of course, she had to have some assistance. But like I said, she's already home. She went home that Monday. So, this is the first week she's been, like, since the surgery. And she's up and moving around, dude. So, I mean, that was fucking awesome. So
Nice. And we get Predator back. I mean, again, shout out to your daughter, but to get you back on the show again, we definitely missed you last week. Although Dreadpool, he did fill those shoes, which is a massive job, and I think he did that very well. But now we got you and Dreadpool here, along with my brother from the West Coast, and probably the only person that has played The Last of Us 2 on this panel, my brother Dark Optimus. What is up, bro?
What's up, man? Yeah. Happy to be here, ready to get into this topics, Same old shit.
You sound so excited right now, man. I just want to put it out there.
I'm just waiting, for the shit.
Waiting for the shit. There's gonna be shit today?
Yeah, because people are just gonna, I already know what's gonna happen, so it just doesn't matter.
Yo, brother. So you're anticipating things. I can't wait to see if this actually
if it doesn't, then it doesn't. If it does, then it does. But I'm just saying, I'm gonna hear shit today, so it's fine.
Well, brother, you are gonna have the microphone and the spotlight to let people know what you think about The Last of Us 2, because we got to hear your thoughts and your opinions on this. It's something that is very polarizing out there in the gaming community, and I know there's a bunch of people in the chat that want to hear what you, Mr. Goldblum.
I think people are going to be a little bit surprised at what I say.
Ooh, so guys, stay tuned for that. And next on the list, he is a fellow Connecticut resident. What do we call somebody who lives in Connecticut? Crispy,
CT baby all day.
CT baby all day. He is a CT
Connecticut.
baby all day. Yo, what is up, Crispy? How you doing today, man?
Oh man, you saved the best for last. No, but in all seriousness, what up, chat? I mean, it's gonna be fun. I want to hear Dark's take now. I'm kind of intrigued. Like he just kind of like he threw a curveball at me. I was like, oh shit, that shit whizzed by me and I struck out. What the hell? So let's go. We're gonna get into it.
Old Uncle Charlie right there, man. Yeah. Yo, shout out to K Mega. K Mega said he's gonna be a couple minutes late. So we didn't want to leave you guys waiting. So we went live. Yo, K Mega should be here within the next like 10 minutes or so, something like that. But we are gonna go on, and we are gonna start with a game that just recently a beta was released for alpha insiders on Xbox. It is a game that there are people out there in social media that try to use this game as like some type of troll type fuel or whatnot, but the game's called Grounded. For people who don't know, it's basically a survival game like Ark, right? Ark Survival Evolved. And Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie kind of slammed together. You're in the backyard. Your character is really, really small, and you have to survive in that kind of wilderness. You know, dealing with ants, dealing with spiders, stuff like that. And you can craft bases. You can explore the backyard. There's supposed to be kind of like a story to it where you find like these different artifacts, these different things in the backyard that have a story behind it, and you kind of follow that story. So I want to hear first kind of like thoughts and impressions on Grounded. First off, I played the demo, and I gotta say, it felt like Ark to me, and I think somebody on the panel will disagree with that, but to me it felt like Ark, but minus all the glitches and more interesting. Like when I was playing Ark, I wanted to deal with dinosaurs and all that good stuff, and they had dinosaurs there. But with Grounded, I feel like the atmosphere and the environment is a lot more interesting, and I gotta say the gameplay itself, I didn't run into very many glitches or anything like that. Like I think this is a solid game that's going to be coming out. Dreadpool, you said you played this game as well, right? Or the beta, right?
Yes, I played the beta.
All right, dude, why don't you let people know kind of like your thoughts and opinions, gameplay, kind of like the presentation, environment. What did you think about this beta? Do you think it has promise moving forward, bro?
It's a cartoony game. What are you talking about,
Oh,
man?
no. Dude, not like this, bro.
No. It was actually a fun game. I don't see it like Ark, because with Ark, I couldn't figure out what to do, and I kept on dying within 5 minutes, and there was nothing around me to be attacking me. With this, if you didn't attack anything, depending on where you were, they usually left you alone. So I don't want to really spoil much, but you were able to pick up stuff and craft stuff, and you there was enough there to like piece things together and have a puzzle to figure out the clues. And it told you need to do this. Well, now you have to figure out how to do that. You had to search around to figure out these pieces. Well, while you're doing this, you find out there's another puzzle. So it's like, which puzzle do I go for first? Because
for real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be. I don't know how much I want to say.
You're trying to be general without giving too much away. I understand, man.
Right. I mean, it's the basics of the first part of it. So it's not like you're gonna really miss out on anything, because it's just an opening demo for the beta to learn how to do it. So everybody's gonna have to figure it out. But I don't want to, the innocence of playing the game for the first time and seeing all this stuff. So I don't want to give that much out. But there are puzzles that you have to figure out, and then you find out, like I said, there's another piece of the puzzle that you didn't know before, and depending on where you're at, you can either go left or right on solving the puzzle to in turn go back to the other side and solve that puzzle too. You know, so
I know exactly what you're talking about, brother.
yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of stuff. The crafting was kind of cool. You know, the collecting, it was explanatory and intuitive at the same time. You know, it was basically you walk over here, you see something, and automatically you hit the button and you pick it up. You know, you don't even think about like, oh, what do I need this for just yet? You just know, oh, I can grab this. And then as you're looking through the menu system, it is vast. I mean, you can just sit there. Once you collect certain things, you could sit there in the menu system trying to figure out what you want to build or do, or what you have and what you want to do with it. So
Yeah.
it was you know, kind of cool. And yet again, this is not for everybody. It is a survival type of game. Yes, it is cartoony, but it does give you the feel that you're in the movie. It does do that. You do feel like you're one of the kids, but you don't see you know, everybody running around panicking, you know, or the baby that's blown up coming at you. So I mean, granted, this is only a beta, so we don't know if we're gonna have a lawnmower coming over us, you know, chopping everything up either.
Oh damn, man! You bringing
That
back
would be
memories
cool,
right now,
right?
dude. You're bringing back memories, man.
You know, and this is part of the stuff that we're talking about. Eventually, these games are going to be movies that you're going to be able to live, not watch. See, and that's part of the determining factor is, you know, as games get more advanced, you want to be interacting with it. You know, you want to be living inside that movie. It's an experience. So it's not just a movie. It's not just a game. It's everything. It's a life of its own that you're living in. You know, when you're playing Destiny or you're playing Halo, you know, there's a life there that you're playing. You're playing as Master Chief. You're supposed to get sucked up into it. This is a kid. You're a child, yes, but there's more to it. You know, you have an adult brain it's figuring stuff out as you go. You know, so it's pretty cool. Like I said, it's not for everybody. I definitely didn't like Ark. I did was it Subnautica, and that was okay. That it wasn't too bad of a puzzler. You know, but there were some games that you just, depending on who you are, you know, you might not like that stuff. You know, so survival horror. Survival. Yeah. Well, I played
survival horror. Dun, dun, dun.
7 days. That's a survival horror one, and I thought I was gonna love it, and I hated it. So yet again, it just depends on how it's presented, and the way that this is presented. Everybody just automatically negative about it. You know, you just open your mind, and if it's for you, it's for you. If not, it's not a big deal. You don't have to try it, but you should try it.
Yeah, if you have the ability to now, you have to be an insider right now to check out this beta. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dreadpool, but I believe that is the case because that's where I went to my insider hub to download the demo or the beta itself and kind of got to play it. Dread, one thing I got to ask you, man, because you brought up cartoony in the beginning. One of the things I was impressed by was the graphics to it in terms of like how the different bugs look. Like the ants are absolutely adorable in my opinion, but even like the lighting coming through the grass and stuff like that. What did you think about the game graphically, man?
You know, it had a Sea of Thieves water to it, and I can't figure out why.
I think it's the lighting, dude.
No, it's the same company. It's Rare.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say the lighting to me was really good, man.
The lighting was cool when you do go underground and you're going through caverns, you know, and it feels
Isn't it
like
obsidian? It's not Rare.
It's Obsidian, but they're sharing assets.
They're sharing the same assets.
Okay.
So
Good
yeah.
Good job, Dark. Good job. Stay on that ball, man. Yo, somebody says something.
Hold me on that line straight.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So, but no, you know, they're all sharing assets. They're all sharing technology. They're all sharing, you know, all the little tricks of the trade. That's part of why Xbox is doing what they're doing with all their companies. You know, all their devs. They can switch back and forth, and they do collaborate a lot. You know, you look at Halo and Forza Horizon 4. You know, that was a collaboration. Or a collaboration. Excuse me.
It was a calibration of a collaboration that worked
yes,
out.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but that's the thing. I mean, you look at it, and it feels like, when you first start, it's almost like you're walking through, in like miniature version of the Grand Canyon. It's really cool how detailed it is.
Dude, did
for
you go?
a
Did you go
cartoon.
inside the soda can? By the way.
No, I didn't make it there. I was gonna go there. I haven't. I was like, I'm gonna play this and come back and try to go in there. I was busy dealing with, let's say, lasers, and
Yeah.
yeah.
That whole shit right there, man.
I went in there. Dark, man. I had no idea. I was going in blind, and then I could see some of the lights off in the distance in the cave. That was really cool. And then I found somebody had built a torch. And I was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
Yeah, who did this?
I forgot who I was watching, but yeah, it was really cool. They were able to. Yeah, I mean, we did the same thing. I just went in blind, and I was able to use the lighting and the reflections from what was going on and the source of the lighting to see what to navigate my way to finish that part of the puzzle. So it was pretty cool.
Nice. Anybody else on the panel try Grounded yet? And before you do this, I believe our brother K Mega is here with us. What is up, Mega? Is that K Mega?
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, he's here.
He's here. He doesn't want to talk to us.
Take him a few seconds to get on. So
He's waiting for some white on white crime first before he comes in.
That's exactly right. That's what I was waiting for, but I didn't hear it, and so I'm pretty upset about it. It's Juneteenth. We need some white on white crime in this bitch. That's what we need. So I was in protest because I need some white on white action. That's what I need.
Wow.
Anyway, what's up, man? What's up, fellas?
What's the deal, brother, man? What happened? Why are you running late, bro? What's going on?
I had to use the bathroom, bro.
Okay. I'm just putting you on blast live right now.
Yeah. I had things to take care of, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, no doubt. Well, it is good to have you on, brother. We are going down the line. We're talking about Grounded, the beta that came out. I am taking Dark next. Did you play the beta at all, bro?
No, didn't get a chance to play the beta.
All right.
Is it still available now?
You can play it up until you got 2 more up until the 22nd. You can play.
All right, I'm finna play it right now.
Are you an insider?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, definitely go to your insider hub and sign up. It takes like maybe 40 seconds for it to say
it's on Steam too.
You're registered. What's Steam? I don't know Steam.
I know you don't because you're not a real gamer.
Oh, you can get on Steam too and pick it up that way?
Steam.
All right, let me get on Steam. That'll be faster.
All right, so I believe Dark said he played it. Now, Dark, before you go into it, I do want to say, to me, there is one downside to this. Like, when it comes down to villainous kind of like enemies, I hope there are more than spiders. And, like, if you smack an ant, I was hitting this fly that kept hitting me, kept, like, ramming into me, and I accidentally hit an ant. And when you hit the ant, they get pissed off and they start coming at you too. But I hope there's more than just kind of like the arch villain spider. I hope like there's more kind of like more insects in there, maybe kind of go bigger than insects and stuff like that. But you heard me ask Dreadpool. It's basically the same question to you. What do you think about the gameplay? What do you think about the graphics? What do you think about the beta as a whole? Does it have a future, man?
This game, it definitely has a future. I think your whole thing with I think this is going to be more like a Sea of Thieves, like where it's kind of barren at first and then it picks up, like with more content and more things that they're putting into the game. It's going to be definitely, I think, something along those lines. Because I think even Grounded goes into game preview, right? It's not going straight into like sold as a full on physical copy of the game, right?
I believe it's going into game
Pass, right?
I think it's going into game preview, but like as well, it's also going into Game Pass. So
right,
like you won't have to pay for it in game preview. You could just go in and play and do what you gotta do.
So I think graphically it looks good. I mean, it reminds me of more of the earlier Pixar movies. Like a little bit like ants. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that movie. It looks good. I mean, it plays good. You know, I'm not denying that. It's not my type of game. That's for sure. I definitely gave it a pretty good shot. You know, I gave it a fair shot. I think I played about 2 or 3 hours of it.
Oh, I'm proud of you.
Just going around and just playing it. Um, it's definitely, I see the appeal in it for people. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it, especially if they enjoyed Sea of Thieves or they enjoyed Ark Survival. If they enjoyed you know if they like the Honey I Shrunk the Kids movies, they're gonna definitely enjoy the game. Um, it definitely it's cartoony, but it's not. You know how some games they look bad even though they're cartoony. This
Yeah.
this game doesn't. This game doesn't do that. Like, it doesn't look bad as a
Dude, the ants are cute as hell, man. Let's be real.
Yeah, it definitely has this cuteness to it. Like, even the characters have this little cuteness to it.
Even the dirty spider, like from what I saw.
Yeah, the dirty spider is definitely
The dirty
like
spider.
it definitely doesn't and I think the reason why there isn't that very many enemies is because it's not going to be a straight up, like, release like Sea of Thieves was. I think they've kind of learned their lesson with Sea of Thieves. I think, I know they're two different companies, but like Dreadpool said, they're using assets from each other. So I think they're kind of learning their lesson from Sea of Thieves, and they know that they can't come up with a $60 game like that and expect people not to say, like, where's this content that we're that makes it feel like it's full on $60.
I'm not sure this is going to be a $60 game, by the way.
No,
Like,
I don't think so
I don't
either.
think so either.
I think it'll be probably like a $30 to $40 game, something like that.
mhm.
I can agree with that.
And I think it's definitely like, I like the whole crafting system on it. Like, I like how there's you craft things, and then it's I like that aspect of it, but the whole survival thing, it never appeals to me for some reason. I don't know why, but it's weird because I like other games that have survival elements in it. So I guess it's just a conflicting thing with me.
Well, yeah, no game is going to attract every single gamer out there. You know what I'm saying? So,
but
you
I do see the appeal.
Okay, I mean, and you might just get into certain aspects of survival, but when, like, I know one of the things I kind of get frustrated with, and this one wasn't too over the top, is like the keeping your character hydrated, keeping your character, full of food and stuff like that. Like, they have it in the game, but to me, it's not dinging like every 2 seconds saying you need something now, type thing.
Yeah.
So I can dig that.
I will say that's the good thing about that game, is that it doesn't do that, and hopefully they continue to not have it do that, because I think a lot of those survival games, it's like a few seconds later you have to rehydrate or eat some food, and it's just like, what? Like, I just did that not that long ago. So I think if they continue to do it where they don't make you do that, it'll definitely I think it'll definitely appeal to a lot of other gamers besides myself.
Nice, brother. And shout out to my brother Elementa Pio in the chat. What is up, bro? Brother, stay strong, man. I think we might tackle some of the issue that you're going through on Twitter in a little bit on the show, and if we do, stay strong, brother, man. You voiced your opinion on a game that came out, and of course, when it comes down to it, there's a lot of extremists out there that you can't say anything negative about any exclusives that come out. So, brother, it is good to see you here. Stay strong, and hopefully we'll get to that on this show. Anybody else try Grounded? Anybody else?
It's booting up right now for me.
I haven't tried it. I haven't tried it only because I'm not in the insider program. Okay, and that's because I got rid of it a long time ago and nearly bricked my my Xbox One S. So I got rid of it because I was concerned, and I've had a lot of people that said like that was a good idea, and then I'm like, oh shit, I really want to play this game, just because, I go and watch people, and it's like,
You watch
okay,
people? I'm sorry, bad
God.
joke.
Oh God, I
Bad
watch Twitch, I watch Mixer.
From the
Uh-oh.
Oh
closet.
God.
Uh-oh.
I think K-Mega can do a tribute to this.
Dude,
Just
you
saying.
can't form an opinion off watching, man. You know that, right?
No, that's against the rules. I know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for the love of God, like the sounds. I was impressed with the sounds more than anything. I was actually like, wow, I feel like I'm in like a field that I'm way too small to be.
Oh yeah,
in.
it sounds creepy right now when I'm just now booting this thing up. Like,
I'm playing right now.
I was expecting like
Like,
some
what the hell?
cartoony BS, and the only thing I can go and say about this game right now is that a lot of people will sleep on it because you want your story driven hardcore games, but a lot of kids don't want that. They want to make their own environment. They want to build their own thing.
Look at the most popular games right now, man.
And this game, because of the graphics I saw, because of the sounds I heard, just by watching other people play it, and then like I was sitting there, and Jez put that out with the spider came at him. I was like, yo, imagine 4 people around that spider trying to kill that thing. That would be fun as hell. We'd be yelling at it. We'd be like, yeah, we're gonna kill you. You know what I mean?
Yo,
like,
the spiders are messed up in this game, by the way. I will say that. Like the way they come at you, oh my goodness.
you know what I mean? Like that's something I'm like, see, this is multiplayer with, you can still play it single player. And I think, and the only reason why I'm really intrigued is because Obsidian's making it. And I mean, New Vegas is one of the best games I've ever played. I mean, still to this day, like I can go back and play that game all day, even though the graphics look like shit. You know what I mean? That game, as far as how they built the world and how you crafted everything and everything else, just enveloped me. And I said, Obsidian made this game probably way before Microsoft actually bought them and started developing it and everything else. And I say they love Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, because that's what it felt like. It did.
It
But
definitely feels like that. Yeah.
a lot of kids don't understand that, but all they see is these towering grass and these bugs that are twice the size of them, and they say, I got you, I'm gonna get you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yo, Crispy, real quick, yo, shout out to Elemental PO hitting up that super chat, brother. Can you see it? Can you read that for us, man?
thanks for the support, brother. You guys make this community what it is. Classy.
Stay classy, brother. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, like, I'm not saying that it doesn't look somewhat cartoony, but I was more surprised that it didn't look as cartoony as I thought it would. You know what I'm saying? It was very strange. And then the crafting is more my pace, because like you're using those
these
grass
goddamn
blades.
ants ain't no joke. Get off of me.
Don't hit them, man. If you don't hit them, they won't attack you.
It told me to attack him. Shit, I'm running, son. Yo, son.
But those grass blades, like, you use to build your little, like, fort or whatever. And then, it was very simple, but then you go into the menu and it was very intricate. And I was like, okay.
What I like about the menu, like, it's definitely, it's a full menu. But unlike Ark can be very kind of like overbearing on the menu. Like, you open it up and you don't know what the hell you do. With this one, it's a lot more streamlined. It's not really as imposing, and you can go in and you're like, okay, I can make that, and that. It's a lot more intuitive than any of the other survival games I played.
Well, that's where I go back and say, like, a lot of people had a lot of trouble with Division 1 compared to 2, even though 2 is kind of dead right now. But 2 had a better, like, crafting system and everything else.
Okay.
Like, it was more streamlined. And that's where I go and say, like, Minecraft has developed itself into a very good crafting system.
Mm-hmm.
You build things. And that's where I go and say, off of what Dark was getting at, is that they're sharing assets, and I truly believe they are. They're all in, they have like little like get-togethers and stuff before everything that happened in the world, and they talk to each other and they share stuff, and I feel like Xbox is on the cusp of making some great RPGs. I think we're going to see a lot more RPGs because in the end, we're all older gamers. We're all in our 30s plus, and it's like we could sit here and say, "Oh, we want this or that," but what about the tens of millions of younger generation that's below us that is going to come up and take our place eventually? That's going to say, "Well, I like this game," and even with Ark still being around, which I've watched Ark, my girlfriend's son plays that game all the time, and it is just hot mess for me. Like I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is a hot mess. And if you can streamline that, because the game's still alive and they still for it, and people love it, especially the younger generation, and you can make that into something grounded and we all know Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but in the end, we have a lot of children that have no clue what the hell we're talking about. And if you experience that through a game, that's cool.
Yeah, the kids can experience it through the game, and then bring them to the movie. Like, bring the movie to them afterwards. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it the other way around. I'm not sure if it will register. I think it would register better if they tried out the game and then went to the movie, and then like that might become a classic for them the way it is for a lot of us out here. But
and that's what happened with my daughter. She hasn't seen the movies. She watched me play. Next thing I know, she's playing.
Oh, shoot.
Okay. She just turned 7, a week and a half ago. So here she is yet again playing this game that's, it's intricate enough, but simple enough that a child can play and understand.
That's awesome. Does she like it?
That's the beauty. Oh, yeah. She loves it.
Nice.
She was asking me how to play it.
I am not liking this whole pack of ants that keep walking up to me and looking at me, bro.
Leave it up to K Mega to start drama as soon as he gets into the game.
And I ain't got nothing but a pebble.
You hitting him with a pebble?
Hut. No. I'm just looking at them, because they all walk up. They're curious. They want to know what's going on with me. And I'm like, it's like 6 of them. Like, bro, come on now.
Listen to what he just said. That's building tension without actually having any story to it.
I was like, seriously,
you have tension in your heart right now.
Huh?
As long as you don't hit them, you're good, man. Like,
bro, I didn't know that because I'm in here.
They'll follow you and everything, dude. Like,
bro, I was like, this is not a good scene. I only just got this little rock in my hand, and they just all looking at me. And each one, they communicated with each other, and each one walked up damn near to me and observed me, and then they walked off. Like, ugh.
This is Obsidian, bro. This is what they do, dude.
Real quick, K Mega, what do you think about it graphically? Because you just tuned it, you just started playing it, and I know they start you in that hole, and you kind of come out into the yard and everything. So far, what do you think about it graphically?
No, it's pretty. It's one of those games like you were saying. I think it was Crispy that was saying that there's like an earlier Pixar game. I mean, movie Ants or whatever like that. Oh, well, who made
whoever said
Ants?
Ants.
That was Pixar.
Okay, that's what I thought. Well, whoever said that, that's what it reminds me of. I mean, it's visually, it's got, it's real colorful.
Ants was DreamWorks.
DreamWorks, okay, that's DreamWorks.
It. Oh, no, Bug's Life. That's
Bug's Life.
Oh snap! It's a tick. It looked like it's a tick eating a fly.
It's a mite.
I'm gonna bust this tick's
ass.
ass.
Those are the little.
That's a mite. That's a mite.
Yo, those are those little red bugs that you see on like the sidewalks and shit, man. You ever see? They're like really, really tiny. Like,
yeah.
Oh, blood bugs. Yeah. That's what I got.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Until that can craft me a damn axe out of an ant. Arm or some shit.
Yeah,
now I'm like in a. It's crazy because like I'm in a little computer, little box, like some kind of. I don't know what the hell this thing is.
Oh
but,
shoot! Our brother Lemon is in the chat. What is up? 108.
Yeah, but no, visually it's nice. It's not like it's got the kind of cartoony look or whatever. But I mean, it's not something that's kind of like, oh man, this game looks like it's. Like they haven't put no care into it. I see a lot of potential. This is a demo though, too, and I mean,
It's
Like,
basically a beta.
right. So, I mean, it's definitely going to look better. And just thinking, right, when they add HDR and ray tracing to this thing, like it's
Oh,
going to
no.
be believable, unbelievable.
Ooh.
So, yeah, no, I can definitely see the potential in it. But I mean, of course, this would be one of those games kind of like Sea of Thieves where you would want to play with friends instead of playing solo. Now, I would play this solo for a couple of hours just because I want to build up stuff, learn more about what I need to do in the game. So once we all get together, it'll
He's
be
gonna build
fine.
up
But
that pimp cabin over
yeah,
there.
yeah,
At the
right. Because I'm
base.
gonna definitely, I want to definitely have me a boom boom room. I'm definitely gonna have that. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, no, this is dope, man. I'm digging it. I downloaded the wrong game. I thought it was because there's a couple of games that's through preview. There's one called Drake Hollow, and I thought that was Grounded because I just went to it and that was the game because I didn't even see Grounded. And then when I went back in there just a minute ago, I seen it and I was like, oh, okay, I need to manage it first. So I just, luckily, thanks to Pred, I sit here and just went on Steam, and so I'm playing it right now while
Nice.
I'm talking.
Well,
I'm waiting.
Oh, this little green bug gonna get this work. Come here, little bastard.
yo, he runs away from you, man.
He is. He's running. I'm
he gets
catching his
scared and
ass.
runs away from you, yeah.
I gotta say, I'm waiting to find that marshmallow so I can like ride on top of the ant like a horse.
Oh, kind of like the pig with the carrot in Minecraft, man. Yo, you mentioned Predator. Pred, you said you're playing right now as well.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Bring your ass over here.
Dude, you sound like you're a little further away from your microphone, but what do you think so far? At least graphically, man. Something that you can kind of chime in on real quick.
Actually, surprisingly, it looks like it looks pretty decent for what what you get out of it. Like I wasn't expecting it to look this polished, I guess.
Yeah, that's the same way I think about it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Even though, like, I mean, I'm stuck in the fucking fields of fucking green right now, but I mean, I can see the potential in somebody playing this game, and like when you see like some of these people, they build these like forts and shit like that, and you look at them like, how the fuck did you do that shit? Like, I can see that being one of these games. Like they build their home base. Fucking ant is fucking pissing me off right now. You about to get this work with this rock though.
Yo, Jazzy said bug snacks in the chat, bro.
He ran, but
Okay, so I know.
I mean,
how to
it's actually I can see
mushroom
this
now.
being an actual one of those games that people will gravitate to when it gets when they get it
Oh,
polished.
ran up the
Oh,
damn
shit,
tree.
Spider,
I ran
get
up
the
the damn-
fuck out of here.
Yo, do you hear these guys?
That little bastard ran up the damn.
Yo,
piece of grass.
the rest of the
is
panel.
awesome,
I
dude.
think we just lost Pred and K Mega to Grounded, man. I think we just lost these guys to.
I just
Dude,
got-
I tell you, don't sleep on this game. I said it 100 times. Don't sleep on
I
it.
mean, like I talked shit about like the graphics and stuff before, but like I mean, it looks. I can see this being like Minecraft-ish.
Oh, what the hell is this? Is this pesticide that I'm in? Oh, I gotta get out of here, bro. Oh shit! What kind of bug is that, bro? Hell no! What is that?
Is that the
Spider?
spider?
What is that? No, it was a weevil.
That's why
Okay.
I killed him.
Oh, I didn't even see one of those, man.
Yeah, it said
I
when
know
I
one.
hit
That
it-
motherfucker's crazy too.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I gotta get out of this, man.
Hey, just be
Oh, that
glad this
weevil is
isn't
on my
co-op.
ass, bro. Hold on, I'm finna try to record
Guys, this
I
is what
can't.
happens when two people on the panel decide that they're gonna try the beta out as we are live. You guys are getting raw
Uncut footage,
reaction.
Oh, this weevil is coming. Get this damn work.
Could you
What
imagine
the-
if-
Oh, it's got shit. Oh, it blew up on me and killed me. Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh.
Marty Bison, what is up, brother?
Oh,
Yeah.
the weevil. Okay, so the weevil got some shit on his back, and then when you hit it, it starts
It's a
bubbling. So it starts bubbling off of his back. So then I was beating the hell out of it, but I was also getting poisoned, I guess, by pesticide or whatever. I don't know what it is, but I was.
and
So
get
I
that
was like,
weevil meat.
and so yeah, so right there, that damn thing. So when I popped it real good and hard, that shit blew up. And green slime jumped on me, and then that was it. It says Max was killed by an infected weevil. That's what it is, an infected weevil.
Just
Oh,
imagine
wow.
if this was 4-player co-op, you'd have half of everybody out of here.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
getting the plane together.
Right.
Be like, yo, screw it, we're going in, yo. Like,
Oh, bro, I need
Yo.
to try to get to this water pellet.
shout out to Marty Bison hitting up that super chat, not super tat. He might have a super tat, but we're talking about super chat. Showing some love to the bot. Brother, I noticed how you kept the letter off of that one, man. Yo, shout out to Jesse Darby hitting up that super chat with what the
Butt snacks.
Butt snacks. Oh my goodness, yo. Shout out to you, Jesse. Guys, if you don't mind, I would like to move on to the next topic unless, anybody has
Oh, now
anything
this is
else to
slick.
say.
Okay, I got one more thing to say. Okay, this is slick. Okay, I was like, there's a water droplet right here, right? So I slurped up the. Okay, there's a little water droplet on the grass, on a piece of on a thing of grass. So I was like, I don't have one of those axes yet. So, and I got to go get my backpack to where I just got killed by that weevil. So I was like, well, let me see how clever this game is. So I went and I started punching the blades of grass to try to find the right one. And sure enough, when I punched the right blade of grass, the water dripped down to the ground.
What?
So yeah,
Nice.
yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
You could also drink that, but you.
Oh, I just drunk it. Yeah,
You can't. You got to watch out because I accidentally saw. I saw the puddle and I was like, "Oh, cool! Check out this puddle. Oh, I can drink this." Yeah, no.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, it was just a bad puddle. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I drank the water instantly because I took a couple sips out. I grabbed it a couple times and it instantly made me hungry. Afterwards, grab mushrooms. You can eat mushrooms like raw.
Yeah. I was
keep
eating
your-
mushrooms.
Yeah, I was
That's
wondering if you're gonna start
unbelievable.
tripping.
They don't have purple veins, dude. It's okay. Yeah, I know way too much about drugs, people. On that note, guys, let's get into the PS5 real quick because a picture has come out.
Oh shit!
I'm actually
Goddamn spider! Oh shit! That was behind me, bro. I'm out. Oh shit! I heard the music and I said, "What is that?" That thing will pop right behind
Yo,
me.
somebody
Lord.
timestamp that scream, by the way.
I'm out.
We
I'm out.
need that.
I'm out. Okay,
We
let me
need
cut
that
it off.
scream, people.
Let me cut it off. This shit is good though. I like it. I dig it. I do. I dig it. All
Yo,
right.
ACS Husk, what is up, brother? No, I didn't write bug snacks. I probably could though. I
Let me
probably
get
could.
back to the show.
But let's talk about the PS5 real quick because I want to talk about the console itself because I think a lot of people out there are kind of downplaying something about this console. Now, whether or not you like the design or you hate it, one thing I will say is I don't think a lot of people are thinking about how big this console is. And a new picture surfaced on social media, and I'm going to share it with you guys in the show right now. It seems that 3 people who are working on the manufacturing line have posed for a picture with the PS5, and wow, that thing is taking up that guy's entire torso, basically. I tried to tell people this thing is gonna be huge in terms of size. They're saying that quite possibly the biggest console ever made. I don't know. Let's go to Crispy on this. Crispy, you can see the picture as we're talking right now. I shared it a couple times in the DM as well. Dude, what do you think about the size of the PS5? Do you think people are underestimating it? What do you think this means for potential consumers when it comes out? Because as well with the Series X, a lot of people said that kind of like more rectangular design. People are like, well, it's not going to fit in our entertainment system, stuff like that. This thing looks absolutely massive. What do you think it's going to mean, man?
Personally, it's very hard to fathom a console that size for me because I mean I thought the PlayStation 3 was huge, and then they brought this out, and it comes down to cooling. I mean, they might be going for a cheaper price point because they need to have all of this airflow around the console. That's why you have the stands there and everything else. Like, a lot of people can deny that, that's fine. But from the actual PlayStation stream that I saw that stand clearly on it. That stand is very important. Don't lose the stand.
No, because you can't even lay it sideways. It has to be on the stand, even laying it down.
This thing dwarfs my cable box, which I have, a DVR and everything else. It dwarfs it. Literally, if I were to place it on top of like my little stand that I have, it would take up the entire stand. I'm talking. I mean, you're over 1.5 feet. That's what I feel like, because look at his torso.
Yeah,
he's not a small dude. He's probably in his 6 foot range. I mean, are you kidding me?
I'll give him 5'10", man. I'll give him 5'10". That's my height. I'll give him that one. Okay.
He's not.
What happened?
So what do you think? He's like 4 foot
dude,
something?
There's no way. No,
but in all seriousness, you think about that for a second. Like, go from your pec to your stomach, the end of your stomach. Go from your pec to the end of your stomach, no matter what size you are. That's a big deal. I'm just saying, like, I think I'm pretty damn sure that I kind of like
collarbone in his pec, man.
Series X was a little big for me, but they kind of compacted it. And you have to realize that with the Xbox One X, they have kind of worked through this whole cooling scenario, because we don't want the red ring of death. I know Phil has always thought about the red ring of death. He said it in multiple interviews. Okay? He said that actually killed 360 just jumping way ahead of PlayStation. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like, red ring of death was at the beginning of the console, and we still were even with PlayStation 3 at the end. And they didn't have those problems. The problem is that everybody says, is it going to sound like a freaking wind tunnel or a jet coming off? And I've had a lot of people that I've watched lately that have actually bought an Xbox and actually tried the damn thing. And they're like, I don't hear a damn thing. And I'm like, well, they spent the money in the cooling. And, now your cooling can only do so much, but hot air rises, pretty simple. Or you have, they clearly said that you can lay it down sideways, and it would fit where I have my Xbox One X right now. The PlayStation 5 would not fit. It would not fit, because I guarantee it would overheat. And the reason why I say that is because of that damn stand. That stand is there for a damn reason.
All right. Well, we heard Dark chiming in as well. Dark, you see a picture right here, and of course, people out on social media, they're kind of speculating on whether or not it's real. I will lean more towards it actually being real, because one of the main reasons why Sony came out and showed the console was because they knew a picture like this would come out at some point in time. You would have people that are working on the line, grab it, take a picture of it, show it out there. What do you think about the size? I know it's something that I've tried to tell people about. Of course, there's a certain group out there that anytime I say anything that, it teeters it on whether or not some people are going to buy it or not. Of course, I'm just talking out my ass, but we see it right here. What do you think about the size, and what do you think it will mean to the consumer? Because I know, at least when it comes to kids and their parents, if that box is absolutely huge, that's a little intimidating to some of the parents out there. Be like, nah, hell no, we're not getting that. Like, I know my mom was like that back in the day as well. But what do you think, bro?
To be honest, man, the size
does matter.
It doesn't matter to me. Like, to me, it doesn't. I don't care. Like, I mean, I guess if I have to buy another entertainment system, then I'll have to buy another entertainment system. But,
dude, didn't you say that in one? I think you said that.
I did say that.
Yeah. You're like, looks like I'm getting a new entertainment system.
Pretty much, yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely big, though. I mean, I mean, the guy's not 5'10" for sure, but the console is pretty big. Like without a doubt, it is pretty big. It's just who knows? These guys are Sony of Japan. It might be, who knows? It might be smaller in the U.S. I don't know. you know, it's just it's really hard to say, man, if it's that big or not, because the guy might be like 5'3" or 5'4".
If he's 5'3", then the guy next to him is like 4'8", dude. Seriously.
No. Yeah, he's probably Seriously. But I mean, he's not 5'10" though, dude. That's for sure. He's not 5'10". But I don't know. I really don't know what to say about it, because it's just it's really just a picture. I'm not. You know how much those things can be photoshopped, and I mean, I'm not saying it is photoshopped.
He's saying it might be fake.
Oh shit! Here we go.
It could be. It could be. You never know. But I think for the Series X, I think the Series X is, like I said to you guys in the DM before, there's a reason why these consoles are made the way they are. Like the Series X, the reason why it's made the way it is because it's kind of like a blank canvas. Both of them are very much like a blank canvas, and I think they're going to do a lot more collector's editions with these consoles.
Hold on, real quick, Dark. I just want.
And also,
okay, never mind.
Well, also the reason I think the reason why it might be actually big, the PS5, is because they did have overheating issues with the with the dev kits. That actually happened. So there was overheating issues. So they're trying.
To save money, and there's fans.
Well, yeah, they want to save money with the fans and the cooling system that's in it. That's definitely. But also they could have been like, we'll make the console really big, so then when we come out with a slim version, it looks completely a lot smaller than.
Everybody was acting like Series X was a PC tower, but then we saw this, and I said, "Oh,
well, see, and that's one thing.
Everybody." You're talking about fanboys, dude, and fanboys they're gonna continue to dig into you until they never die. Until they die, they're gonna just keep digging into the Xbox. They're gonna keep digging into the freaking PlayStation 5. For me personally, I think either one, whatever console gives me the games that I want to play, that's where I'm gonna go play my games. Period.
Shout out to one of the moderators on this channel, my brother Christopher Hart, who said the size is to make sure it stays cool. Now, Chris, I remember the unveiling of the Series X, and I remember you on social media going in on that, and basically with the Series X, the main reason why it's shaped the way it's shaped is for it to stay cool. So, brother, I suggest you use that same energy, bro. Like, I can't believe you would throw one under the bus, but then use the reasoning for the other one. That's so weird.
Anybody who says that the Series X looks terrible now is kind of kicking themselves in the foot or kicking themselves in the butt, because the fucking PS5, if it's that big, that's completely ridiculous. That it shouldn't be that big. I mean, there's something they could have done, like a liquid cooling system that they could have put in it that, would have made the console smaller. It's just, I don't know what each company was really thinking, but I think it's really more along the lines of, like, they saw the way that the custom consoles, how much they made this past generation, that they're like, we need to make our consoles so that we can make more customized consoles. So
I can kind of see that, and I think it was Rich from Review Tech was talking about the possibility, either that or the Spawn Wave channel was talking about the possibility of those white kind of like panels coming off and putting on limited edition panels instead of having a limited edition console. That's interesting.
Yeah, I believe that was Spawn Wave.
Spawn Wave,
but
all right.
That's going to be interesting for what they're going to do with the Series X, because they're going to do probably a Gears console. They're going to do a Halo console. So, I think both consoles were designed for a specific reason to make them a lot cooler and sound a lot less like a jet engine.
Hopefully. Not for anything, but when it comes down to it, PlayStations have been loud since... What, the original PlayStation? No, the original PlayStation was good. PS2, PS3, PS4 have definitely been loud systems.
Loud. Yeah.
So
until they like actually update it. Like my PS4 Pro it doesn't have that really loud jet engine sound, but yeah, there has been like my original PlayStation. Yeah, that thing sounded like it was gonna break. So yeah, I mean it just depends on the iteration of console that you get.
All right, I got you, brother. Let's go over to Predator real quick. Pred, did you put down the controller? Are you good? Are you good to go here? Or?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, now Pred, you see the picture up there, which I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna switch it over to more gameplay. That's what we're known for here. But I wanted to show the picture. Everybody get a mental note of that picture as we transfer over. Pred, what do you think about the size of what we're seeing here? Do you think this picture is fake? I have people in the chat, Portal Player, a couple others saying that, it's fake. There are more angles when it comes to the PS5 than what you're seeing right here. What do you think, man?
Here's some simple math for you guys out there, right? I want you to measure the size of a disk drive, right? And then I want you to look at those pictures in there, and I want you to measure three disk drives, and that's how big this motherfucker is. It's at least 15 inches.
That's
maybe a hair
said.
under 15.
Oh!
Yeah. You couldn't see 8 inches if you wanted to. So
you couldn't see 8 inches on a ruler.
I mean, and literally, if you measure out your disk drive on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your PC, and you multiply that by 3, that's how big this thing is. And I've sat here and did it while we were talking about it just now. It's at least 15 inches tall. I don't know how wide it is, but it's at least 15 inches tall. So that is, when you measure that out,
that's
that
almost
is
a foot and a half.
Yeah, that's the size of the Switch. I want to say 2 Switches without the Joy-Cons. Tall. I mean, I'm literally doing the math right now. It's
standing up on top of each other?
Like the width of the Switch right now is about almost 6.
Yeah. Oh,
damn. Yeah. So 2 of those, and that's what you're looking at. And you stand that straight up, and that's what you're looking at, the size wise. I mean, like that disk drive ain't gonna lie to you, right? I mean, like the disk drive standard.
That's a universal measurement.
A disc itself is a little less than 5 inches, just barely a hair under 5 inches tall, so wide. So you measure out 3 of those, and that's about the size of the PlayStation 5, in height. And so, like, no matter if you look at these renders, believe them or not, like, you pull out your tape measure. I'm doing it right now for you motherfuckers, and you measure out 15 inches. And
Pred's got a tape measure in his nightstand. Yeah, it's weird.
I actually was working on some shit in the house. That's wider than my screen. That big ass monitor I have. That's the width, the height of my monitor. A little bit taller.
What?
Actually, it's taller.
So what do you think about this size here in terms of like when it's released out into the wild? I already said like how my mom was back in the day. The bigger the box, the more intimidated she was, especially when you look at price point or and everything like that. What do you think the size might mean when the PS5 releases, bro?
I think a lot of it had to do with cooling, and we talked about this in the past. We're always questioning why they hadn't shown it yet. I think they had a bunch of prototypes, and they're trying to figure out which prototype was going to be the quietest / coolest as far as temperature goes, and this is what they came up with. Like there's probably a lot of unused space in there to kind of push that air out of the console. Because I can't see them. I mean, I don't know what the motherboard looks like. I ain't seen the inside of it yet, but I can't see them using all that space just for the motherboard and for the hard drive. I think it's just to push that airflow out in different directions. You know, hot air rises, obviously, but I think it's meant to be stood up. Despite when you lay it down, you can play it that way. But I think that the cooling part of it is it's meant to stand up so they can get that verticality out of it to push that air at the top of it and at the front end. I don't know what the vents are on the bottom side. If you stand it up, the vents are near the bottom too, but you can clearly see that there's vents at the top of that thing. It's like the Series X.
I'm very skeptical on whether or not the vents are substantial enough to really do what. Like, I think it's gonna function, but when people are saying like quietest PlayStation or whatnot, I mean that's not really the highest bar to aim for. You know what I'm saying? Quietest PlayStation.
The dust collects. There you go. Have fun with that.
But again, I think a lot of people are really kind of downplaying the size of this thing. And shout out to Elemento Pio hitting up that super chat one more time. He says, "I wonder what the ports look like in the back." And that was something that, when the Xbox Series X was shown, because they didn't show the back there. That is just the next question when they reveal hardware. The side that they don't show is always the side like, I wonder what's going on that side. So hopefully, I mean, we're definitely going to see it at some point in time, when it comes down to it. But it'll be really interesting to see what type of hookups there are. I heard people talking about taking apart the PS5 to put in a new SSD. From what I've seen and from what Sony has said, it basically the SSDs that they certify for the PlayStation is supposed to just kind of like plug into the back of it somehow. So I don't think you're gonna have to take it apart like that to put in a new SSD or anything like that. But it's always interesting to see what connections they have in the back of the system. Now, I want to go.
Driving is terrible in this game, by the way.
What? It's really good. What are you talking about?
Your driving is terrible. You're hitting every fucking wall in this game.
You're looking like K Mega.
Wall riding is okay in this game. Okay.
No.
No, it's fine.
Learn how to drift, man. It's called drift something for a reason.
K Mega, what do you think, man? I know you've seen the picture. I did show it on the show. I took it off. We went back to gameplay. But what do you think about the size of this machine? Do you think people are kind of underestimating how big the sucker is, really going to be? And what effect do you think it would have if this turns out to be the biggest console ever produced, man?
Go ahead and read the what's called from Lemon. He just dropped it right.
Yo, shout out to 108 Dragons TV hitting up that super chat. He says Sony is doing overclocking from 9.2 to 10 on the GPU side. They need as much space as possible to help with the cooling, and they don't have heatsink SSD. The heatsink SSD part, I think that's something not a lot of people talk about. I haven't heard anything about a heatsink for the SSD, so I'm right there with you on that one. I think the machine is going to work when it's released, because if it doesn't work, I mean, that's a huge blunder right there, and I don't think Sony will do that. But in terms of like how quiet it is and stuff, if there is like 6 fans in there, can you imagine if 6 fans get up to top speed in terms of RPMs, like 6 fans in there that are going at full speed? That's not gonna be quiet. That's all I'm saying.
Better make sure that your TV is mounted on your wall tight enough.
Yeah, the whole thing starts vibrating.
Or that it's on a proper stand, because that bad boy might blow away. But no, from looking from the picture, the people look like about maybe anywhere from 5'6" to 5'8" at max. So I'm thinking this thing is probably right around what Pred is talking about. It is big. It's massive. That's the one thing that I was concerned about because it looks horrible on its side. So the best way to have it is on standing up, and 15 inches would be completely right in front of the bottom part of my television that's hanging on the wall, and that I couldn't do that, right? Like, I mean, so it's gonna for a lot of people it's gonna be a problem, especially when they place them in cupboards or the TV stands that
The
they put them
shelves
on.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's like that. So yeah, like and it's going to be too wide for that. So they're going to have to probably stand it up. And if you stand it up on the side of your stand or whatever, then it's going to put us a bad situation to where it can collect a lot of
K-Mega,
dust.
real quick, because
Yeah, go ahead.
Portal will not let this go. Yo, Portal player, first off, shout out to you, man. Thank you for coming and checking out the show. You were here just about every week. He says it's a fake picture, but did you hear what Predator said about measuring the disk drive and then going from there in terms of how tall it is or how wide it is when it's laying down? We've already gotten past the picture, brother. You got to do the same thing. Listen to Predator. Predator knows what he's talking about. He had a tape measure with him, man. Go ahead, K-Mega.
Right. So, I mean, look, this is the thing that cracks me up, because if anyone, which I've seen a couple of people in here, go out and just try to defend the fact that this console could be potentially the biggest console we've ever had in the history, but yet was all over the Xbox One Fat, then you're a hypocrite, because that was the media went after it. I want that same type of energy. Like, the media hasn't said anything about its size to the degree of what they did with the Xbox One Fat.
Well, Rich from Review Tech has multiple times.
He's not. I'm talking about the gaming media, the IGN,
like
the Tobacco's, GameSpot. I went because those were the ones. That's where I first heard about the toaster oven thing, which I was like, damn, or the VCR. They were the ones that brought that up. They even went as far as to talk about what the gamers thought about the console, about the Xbox One Fat in Japan, by saying that thing was too big and too enormous to put anywhere near in their house. It was just unattractive. So now what is it? Because you put a white coating on it, it's going to be okay? I mean, that thing is massive. It's much bigger than the Xbox One Fat. So therefore, it still should have the same energy of saying, look, this thing is massive. And I kind of want to hear what other gamers have to say across other places, because if in places like Japan, where they like things, smaller, compact, then what the hell is this thing going to do? It's like it's going to be bigger than their shelves. So, I mean, that's for me. I mean, when I get one, I'll know where to place it. But to me, it's like, if you're going to try to put it in shelves and things like that, and maybe they made it that big maybe not on purpose, but for the fact of like, look, this thing needs as much air to circulate through it. So it might make it bigger to where it won't fit in any type of shelf. So we wouldn't have to give people back any money or have to give them a new console. Let it make it be bigger than that. I don't know. There could be all different type of strategies of how they do this. All I know is that it's big regardless, even if it isn't 15 inches. If it's 13 inches, it's still a big son of a bitch. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I
feel like it should have been black. Like you
right.
Said black. Like we're used to that.
I don't mind the color variation, to be really honest with you, man. I really don't. Like, the all black one does look better, in my opinion.
Right.
But you guys already know. Like, we've already discussed kind of like the design of it. And how it looks in terms of like the corners and all that good stuff. So we're already past that. My whole thing is, and I don't think this is gonna be kind of like a huge impact when it comes to the system selling.
I don't think so at all. That's what I was going to say.
I think it is gonna catch a lot of people by surprise when they go to pick up that box and they need both arms to do it, because of how big this sucker is. You know what I'm saying? And then, people are talking about where they're going to put the Series X in terms of their entertainment system. I'm like, well, they're definitely going to find a place. And me personally, I like kind of like the taller, I like the tall, I like the way the Series X is positioned. They don't really have me. They didn't really hook me on like the overall design, but they made it like kind of like an Alexa or something like that. Something that stands, something that will kind of go in with other things that are in the living room. So I don't have a problem with that. And it's function over form when it comes down to it with that. This thing, I think people are really underestimating how big it is. Crispy, did I go to you, Crispy?
Yeah, you went to him first.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
So I just want to say one more thing though. They're both ugly on their side. So both consoles does not look right on their side. So but since the Xbox One, the Series X is smaller, it is not going to be so much of an eyesore to be, to where you're playing the game. But it's just like what you were saying. Like if it was black, it wouldn't be as bad. That's why I was making the point of the design of that blue color, that light. If it shines on you, and then you got this, and then it's white, and then if it's 15 inches, that thing is going to be distracting, and you ain't going to you're going to have to put it on its side, and then that's going to be weird in its own self because it's going to take up a whole bunch of other space. I mean, you got to put, and remember, if you get a bigger hard, like a hard drive, like I got one of those, I got like a 4 terabyte hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's a pretty good size, but you got to keep things separated because you don't want the heat to go over to through your consoles or anything. So if you have something that's 15 inches that lays on its side, and let's say that you do have another console, and then you have other things right there that's in the process. I mean, and your TV is on a stand, on that same stand. That's a lot of space that's going to be taken up, man. So, I mean, I know at the end of the day, people will figure it out, and it's not going to be that big of a deal. But something that big, man, good God. And then the fact that it's not going to be more powerful than the smaller component, yikes.
Yo, shout
That's one thing I like about the current gen. Like you can, like the consoles we have now, the PlayStation Pro and the Series X, like when they're laying flat, there's a flat surface there. You can just put your hard drives on top of that. And it's like you can't do that with these.
No. But shout out to Sir X-Man hitting up that super chat. And I think we're doing golf on Sunday as well for Father's Day. It seems like the perfect game for that. So shout out to Sir X-Man hitting up that super chat. He said, I thought the Neo Geo was the biggest console ever. And that is a great point because that thing was absolutely massive. And so was the price for that when that first came out as well. Anybody know how big the Neo Geo was offhand?
Not big enough.
Right now.
If you do, you're an
right
absolute nerd, by the way, and we absolutely love that.
13.2 inches.
You said 13?
No, I don't know. I'm joking.
Oh.
Either way, not big enough.
Not big enough. Yeah.
You ready for me? I'm ready to blow up.
Uh-oh. Everybody, strap into your seats. Here comes Dreadpool.
I need you to put that picture back.
Oh, all right. Here we go.
I need you to put that picture back.
There it is, man.
Whether or not it's fake, okay? Whether or not it's fake.
Well, hold on. Let me say this before you get started. It says dimensions 325 by 237 by 60 millimeters.
Can't do fucking millimeters.
Dude. What? We're in America, man. We're in America.
All right.
Moving on.
What the fuck?
Okay. You see the guy in the middle holding it?
Yeah.
You see how he's standing?
Yeah.
Okay. He's leaning. Why is he leaning? He's doing a counterbalance on that thing. Okay. That is a counterbalance hold.
Yeah.
Trying to look cool, trying to hold it without looking like a wimp. Okay. Think about this now. Everybody complained that the Xbox was a hefty 8.4 pounds, right? And this is the Series X. I'm sorry, the One X. The Pro was 7.2. So, it was dainty for that reason because, the Xbox was so heavy. It was like, oh, my God, you can't believe it. You know how much this thing weighs? Approximately 10.5 pounds.
What? How do you know?
I've been researching.
Oh.
All right. Now, what Pred said is fact. You look at that CD drive.
That's 2 bags of potatoes right there, man.
Here you go. Yeah. Here's the CD drive, right? So based on that, they did a rough estimate on the Xbox Series X, right? Which was 11.85 by 6.03 by 6.03 inches.
Millimeters. I want that shit in millimeters.
I'll let K-Mega figure that one out.
I got you.
All right.
Anyway.
So now, based on that theory, the PlayStation 5 is 15.74 tall,
What?
8.79 wide, and 3.97
Yo,
on the
not for
shorter.
anything, but Pred got really close to that by his like disk drive.
And
He's adding a stand. I didn't add the stand.
that is not the biggest console ever. You're all frauds on saying, "Oh, this console's bigger, that console's bigger. It looks like crap." You know why?
Why?
Check this out. Pioneer Laser, the Pioneer Laser Active.
Oh, come
That
on,
console.
bro.
Come on, did that even come to the
Come
United
on,
States?
bro.
Yes.
Yeah, it did. Nobody bought it.
The 3DO? You talking about the 3DO?
You played games in Laserdiscs. The Laserdisc games too.
Remember the big laser discs, like the big record
25
discs?
pounds. Yep.
I remember
Right.
the 3DO, but I don't remember
Google
the.
this real quick.
Yeah.
It made the 3DO look like a shrimp. Okay. 25 pounds this thing is, right? It also measured 6 inches high.
Yo,
But now
remember.
figure that on the side. That would be 6 inches width, right? But its actual width when you laid it on its side was 17 inches wide and 15 inches deep. That is the biggest console ever made.
Dude, did you say 15 inches deep? Because Born to Tease is in the chat right now? I think so. I think so.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So everybody complaining that these consoles are too big, you don't know what a big console is.
Yeah, no,
we got used to having cell phones that were in a briefcase that went down to the inside of your palm of your hand, like a Star Trek, what is it, Comcord or whatever it's called, and then now we're going to tablets. Okay, we got phablets, so we're going from huge to small and then back up to huge, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's too big. I can't put that on my head." But yet you put this damn thing that you had in a briefcase on your head, carrying it around.
Beard
That
pool,
thing could kill a small
beard
dog.
pool, bringing it to the knowledge real quick.
And
But
by
in
the
all
way,
seriousness, why are we at this point again where you're rivaling a console that was released
Yeah.
30 years ago? What?
because
I mean that's what
Because
it
he
felt
wanted
like.
to point out that the panel is a bunch of frauds, man. We're all
I'm
frauds.
talking about everybody is a fraud when
Everybody.
it comes to this. Because we all joke around. Oh, this one's bigger. What did I say before? Flip it on its side. I'm gonna use something, a projector to broadcast onto it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but it's all in jokes. But when everybody's is like, oh no, this and that. Well, you're complaining about something that it was too big. Well, guess what? It never was that problem. How many years ago? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It wasn't a
well,
problem.
A lot of these people don't understand how many years ago.
Well, Dread, times change though when it comes down to it, and I don't think that Panasonic was a huge seller back then either, man. To be really honest
I
with
didn't know
you.
what the fuck that was until you said it.
It was the cream of the crop at the time, so not very many people could afford that.
Graphically, absolutely.
You're talking about what was it, like 600, 700, or even 1,000 at the time when it came out?
Yeah.
So at that time, which would be like 15 to 2,000 now, for what we're paying. So yeah, for its time, it was state of the art. It had everything, So one more thing.
Oh, he's cracking it open, people.
Or Dr. Pepper.
Wow.
Hey, baby.
He was like, "Hold my beer. Here we go."
Oh.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing though. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's too big. It's this and that." Yeah, you know what? It might be too big for the consoles or the console centers that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
But is it really that big? Is it really that much of a deal? Does it play the game that you really want it to play?
Yo, Dread, can you
That's
see?
the problem.
Can you see the chat right now?
No,
No. All right.
I wasn't even looking.
Shout out to Sir X-Man hitting up that super chat, and I think this is for you, Dreadpool. He says, "Well, back then we didn't have stands for flat TV screens, though."
Yeah,
now.
TVs had to be carried by two people back
Yo,
then.
for real.
The floor models
We
were
don't have-
huge, Jack.
We don't have stands now, right? We mount them to the wall, don't we?
No, there's people
mine's
still
not
have
on the
stands.
wall.
Yeah, there's people that
You
have
can
stuff on the
mount it to
stand.
the wall.
It comes with a stand.
Yeah. That's what
Get a wall mount.
Yeah, but I
Problem
think he
solved.
proves a point there. You know how times are different, and Dread, I both respect and despise you for bringing up that Panasonic monstrosity, man. I'm just saying,
Well, you can't be saying it's the biggest console ever when it's not.
Second biggest console ever, next to the Monolith by Panasonic.
Right, which means that we shouldn't be going backwards with technology. We're supposed to be going forward.
But isn't that what we just did with the tablets? We went from a cell phone to a phablet.
No, because I mean, you just look. That's because from how you're describing it, that's like you going from like let's say that the Dodge 500 to looking at a car like looking at like the Coupe de Ville. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, I get it. There's some people that like the Coupe de Ville, but most people are going to go for the more modern, smaller, more economy size car because of gas efficiency. You know what I'm saying? This thing right here, I don't know, man.
The other
I'll
part.
still take
a phone and a tablet. It's not just a phone. You know, so like the tablet, two things in one.
But that's the progression of a phone.
I'll tell you right now, my phone's more
because are you not
powerful than the
watching
tablet I
video?
have.
Are you not watching Twitch and streaming on your game console?
All
You're doing more than just one thing anymore.
Check
and
this out.
that's the thing. I'd rather have an Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme 442 W30 rockets any
Portal, stop getting stuck on the picture, Portal player. Move beyond that. We've already put numbers out there. You can't argue with numbers, okay? When it comes down to it, what Pred said, what Dreadpool said, it is substantiated by science, bro. So, but with that said, Dark, what do you think about the size, man? Like, you've been pretty
You already
quiet.
got it to me.
I did?
You already got it.
All right, cool.
You got everybody.
All right, so moving on to the next
I mean,
topic.
what we're seeing right now with Xbox gameplay, what that chick just threw was the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Dang.
Right there. Wow. Wow.
Yo, all right. Let's get into. I'm gonna spotlight Dark Optimus here because I believe he is the only one that has played this game so far. We are gonna go in and we're gonna hear what Dark has to say about The Last of Us 2. If you're out there on social media, you know this is a polarizing game. You know, I've gone out there, I ventured kind of like beyond the gaming community that we all know, all the names we know, and I started venturing out to see what other hardcore The Last of Us fans were thinking about this game. And I gotta say, it is up in the air when it comes to the gamers out there. When it comes to the people who love the first one, there are a lot of people saying things about the story in terms of the pacing and stuff like that. But we have our own resident Last of Us fan right here with Dark Optimus. So Dark, the spotlight and the microphone is yours, man. Give us your kind of like first impressions of the newest PlayStation exclusive, The Last of Us 2, bro.
Okay, so first off, I'm gonna get this out of the way. I'm gonna say I like the game. Okay.
Oh.
But this, you know how big I am on story.
Yes.
You guys know how big I love story. This is your typical Hollywood revenge tale type of story.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anything new. It's not anything different. It's not anything you haven't seen before in video games. It's definitely, it's not that I don't enjoy the story. It's just that the story is very much similar to things that I've seen throughout,
in cinema.
games and cinema.
Yeah.
Correct. So that being said, the story is okay. I'm not going to say it's terrible, and I'm not going to say it's fantastic. It's just okay. The gameplay, though, is awesome. I love the gameplay. I think the gameplay is really a lot better this time around.
Okay. In what ways, though? Like
in just the ways of being able to stealth The stealth is a little bit better. Of course, it's not beyond, something like Hitman or something like that, or Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell and Hitman are completely on another level when it comes to stealth. But for this game, for what it is, for uh, you know, how Ellie interacts with things, it's good enough. It's good enough for that, and it gives you enough stealth elements to kind of be like, okay, well, that's okay, because she's not Hitman, she's not Sam Fisher, she's not any of those guys. So it kind of works for her.
Okay.
The gunplay is a little off in terms of just um it doesn't feel satisfactory to me. Like, I feel more satisfied when I'm stabbing somebody in the neck than I am somebody shooting somebody.
That sounds so brutal, by the way.
Right, exactly, and it sounds completely demented, to say
I
that.
feel so much better
But
when I'm stabbing
that's
them in
just
the
how,
neck. Like,
when I'm playing the game, that's how. Right. Well, that's just how I feel when I'm playing the game.
okay.
It's graphically, it looks good. It's not the best. I will not say it is the best looking PlayStation 4 game out there. It is not.
Really?
I think Uncharted 4 was better. I think Horizon Zero Dawn was better. I even think Death Stranding was even way better. But just Stranding is just on another level. That Decima engine is just on another level than anything Naughty Dog has put out there for graphics. I will say that there are things that happen that kind
people
of
are asking for
will
no
probably
spoilers.
make a lot of people mad.
Okay.
No, I'm not
Okay.
gonna spoil them. I'm just saying that if you do play the game, there are gonna be moments where it's gonna piss you off, probably. It didn't piss me off because I don't get like that with video games, but there are going to be moments where you are going to be you're not going to be very happy. I think the exploration is good too. I like being able to kind of go around and find resources that I need. Crafting, I like that part of the game. I like the upgrading of weapons this time around a lot more. I like the element of opening up safes. Like, it's like opening up a real safe. You actually have to put it in the combination and things like. I think just overall, the game is good. In terms of gameplay, it's really good. Like, the gameplay is solid when it comes to stealth, but when you're getting into a fight and you're getting into action moments, when you're, of course, you have to upgrade your weapons, but said some things in the in the show prior, before we got onto the show. I actually saw that scene. That one's disturbing.
I told you it was in there, dude. I told you it was in there.
But it's not. But the guy is not the guy you think it is.
But it's tasteful.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But
it's not Drummond.
No, it's not.
It's Dr. Uckman.
It's somebody else. But that it's just, I think people are too invested in making this game look like it's not. It's not a game for everybody. It's definitely not a game people are gonna a lot of people are gonna enjoy. I don't think there's gonna be I think there's going to be elements of the game that people are going to enjoy, but I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that people are not going to enjoy. I think, people are saying that it's very barren. but you expect when it comes to something like a post-apocalyptic type of game, things are going to be barren. I mean, look at the game Mad Max. That game is very barren, but the reason why that game doesn't feel barren is because you have a car. That's why it doesn't feel barren, is because you're able to drive to one place to the other, so that it doesn't feel that way.
Well, the reason why I don't like
this
Mad
one
Max
feels that
is
way
because of the environment.
you're
So.
right, because of the environment. But this right here, the environment is very lush. It's very beautiful looking, but it's very barren because you're on foot most of the time. You're you're not really on your horse or things like that. It's definitely if I was to put a score on what I've played right now, I would give it probably an 8 out of 10.
Well, there's people they're claiming that it's the game of the generation, dude.
I wouldn't
Not
say
in
that.
your opinion?
I would say no, not in my opinion. The Last of Us, the first one, yes, that was the game of the generation. That game definitely was a something new to the zombie genre, to the genre of video games, because it felt like The Walking Dead. It felt like you were in a zombie apocalypse. This one feels like you're in a zombie apocalypse, but it feels like you're kind of
it's like Walking Dead
just kinda
season
going through the
28, where they're like the zombies aren't even really anything.
Right, exactly. Like it feels like that. Like it's just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. But I mean, it's really hard to kind of go into any more depth without spoiling it.
Real
I
quick,
definitely don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Yo, Dark, real quick, shout out to Fastback. Yo, good to see you, brother, in the chat. He asked if you can fast travel in this game or no.
No,
there's
no fast travel. It's very linear, but there's moments where it kind of opens up, and where you can kind of explore the little town or whatever you're in, and then get resources and find ammo for your weapons and find different kind of gadgets that are in the world. But no, there's no fast travel in it, and there's no real backtracking either. It's very they definitely made it so that you're gonna move forward, not move backwards.
Okay, all right. Well, I can definitely dig that. Yo, going back, like there are games where you have to go back and do stuff, and the more and more you have to do it, it starts to get irritating. So that's definitely awesome. We do have to talk about Spider-Man as well, but I want to release the hounds on Dark Optimus real quick. So the rest of the panel, and not all at once, but the rest of the panel, do you have any questions for Dark when it comes to this game? Because I don't think anybody else picked it up.
I know everything about that game. Everything.
In one scene.
Everything about it.
In one scene. The scene.
No. Everything. I know the ending. I know every part about that game.
Are you going to pick it up and play it?
If it goes on sale or if I get hooked up with it, I'll play it. That's the only way. I'm not spending no money on that. But this is the thing, right? Okay, for me, how I look at it, and I'm not going to try to give any spoilers or nothing, but I'm going to ask Dark this. How I compare the story is to one of my beloved TV shows that I watch, which is Game of Thrones. It gives you this anticipation of all of this stuff in the Game of Thrones, but it's all boiled down to season 8. Like when season 8 gave you this crazy high when you fought the Walkers, and then it changed, and then Daenerys went completely crazy, and it just kind of went out of nowhere. Does it kind of give you that same type of feel for the story?
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's a reason as to you can kind of tell why the events play out the way they do, but you definitely do get that Daenerys Targaryen feel to it, where the character, because I mean the character in the first one was very you know, kid, you know, very much of a kid, very
Right.
much like not you know, still exploring the world in a way. And this one, they didn't really pick that up too well. You know, they kind of didn't really explain uh, things very well to where we are right now. Like it just jumps straight to 4 years later. You know, so
Yeah.
I think if they would have explained that a little bit more, it would have been better.
You think DLC is going to be added because of the gaps to fill in the gaps for this game?
I would hope so, but I mean, it just depends, you know.
I
Okay.
gotta ask real quick.
Huh?
How many hours of cutscenes in the playthrough that you've had so far have you had?
Oh, man.
I haven't come across too many cutscenes, but I have been exploring. I have been uh trying to get through. You know, I'm not. This is the kind of gamer I am. I'm not one to rush into games. Like even like Xbox games, I don't rush through them. Like Gears 5 took me like almost 2 weeks to finish because I was just like I just like exploring. I like going through things. I like taking my time with games. I put it
He
on.
gets immersed into it. Like
Right,
there's no rush or
exactly.
anything, man. I got you.
Right, exactly. And
No
some
problem
people
with that.
try to rush through it. A lot of people try to, you know, beat it within a time because they're like, I want to be the first one to beat it. But in actuality, you're not going to be the first one to beat it. There's always going to be somebody out there that's going to beat it before you. And there was one more thing I was going to say about the difficulty. So I'm playing on hard right now, and it feels like a survival type of game. And this is why I'm saying like I don't like how Grounded does it, but I'm liking how The Last of Us does it with the gameplay wise. Which is weird because you would think I would like the Grounded because it's survival as well.
Well, I think a
some
survival
reason-
game and a game with survival aspects are two totally different things. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
right, exactly. And it has the survival aspects, but I think with Grounded, I just don't like some of the, you know, the
You don't like it's cartoony. Come on, say
No,
it, bro.
I don't
You
like-
don't
I don't
like it's
like-
cartoony.
I don't like the tracking of it, you know, like having to track when to drink, when to do this,
Okay.
when to do that, when to do. I don't like that. You know, with The Last of Us kind of does it with where I don't have to do all that stuff. So I like it. It's definitely I would definitely throw this out there. And I know people are going to be pissed and people are really going to be mad at me right now. But it's okay. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. But it is definitely a walking simulator, people. It is not.
Oh no!
There are moments in there where there is you know, you can you have, you know, your moments of battles and people that you have to take out, but for the most part you are walking around. For the most part.
Listening to people talk, like
Listening to people
I
talk,
got him there.
listening to people talk, listen to walking around trying to find resources. It's a lot of that, which would make sense if that was the zombie apocalypse. If the zombie apocalypse was real, that's what you would be doing most of the time. You know, walking around
The
and
Walking
finding-
Dead.
State of Decay. Just saying.
The Walking Dead, you know, the show itself, they're going out on supply runs, but you know,
yeah.
you get the interaction between the people who are doing the run, and that's where, you know, storylines are set up and stuff like that. I could definitely see that. I do want to say real
You
quick.
definitely get different story beats if you explore more. Like, there's going to be moments where you're going to get to a certain spot, and like you're looking into, you know, let's just say a music store or whatever, and you have a moment where there's a cutscene where you're doing like, you know, you're playing a guitar or whatever, you know, you're doing something like that. There's going to be moments like that throughout the game where you're not gonna find it unless you go out there and you explore. that part of the game.
Oh,
If you're just trying to get through just the story and you're just trying to run through it, of course you're not going to find a lot of the
nuances.
like the nuances and the moments that I've seen and the some of the combat moments are off the beaten path.
Okay.
What you're saying,
Yeah.
it's not side missions, but it could be like a side mission.
Right.
It's not.
Right. It's not technically
Optional.
a side mission. It's optional, but if you do it, you kind of get rewarded with,
Kind of like God of War in a way.
certain things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like God of War.
Exactly
It
like God of
doesn't-
War. Yeah.
Dude, you know what? You just
Exactly
you just-
like God of War.
You,
yeah.
you just
Yeah.
you just gave it like the perfect thing. It's exactly like God of War. This is where Sony kind of needs to differentiate itself from the rest of the pack, is not kind of take, you know,
Don't do the same
everything
thing with every.
yeah,
every
don't do the same
thing
thing with the
same game. Yeah. With the game.
Yeah, that Sony blueprint, brother. What? Yo,
That template.
Yeah. Yo, but yo,
I mean, it's enjoyable, but at times it's like, okay, yeah,
Hey, Dark.
I see where this is coming from.
So they're
Dark,
running into
well,
a
hold on,
Ubisoft
Dred.
template.
Dred, real quick, I just want to, I want to shout out Elemental PO because he does have a question for Dark, and he hit up the super chat to do so. Thank you so much, El. I definitely appreciate that. He said, he's asking Dark here, did you get Metal Gear Solid 2 switcheroo vibes from this game yet?
No.
No?
But that's the thing. Like, I already knew going in that you were gonna play as somebody
Switcheroo.
else.
You were
That there
gonna
was gonna be a
switcheroo.
switcheroo.
Yeah.
You know
so I
what
already
that
knew
remind me of, and why? You know what that reminds me of? Halo 5.
Yeah,
And-
Halo
Ah,
5.
switcheroo.
And the thing of it with me is this, and Livewire said it great on GRG last night because he's been playing it too. Him and 108 Dragons. And so what I get out of it, because I don't have an attachment to the characters in The Last of Us, but what Live said is just think about if this was Halo, how would you feel? And I would be so goddamn upset because of the way that the scenario ends. If that was in Halo, like that would be the worst Halo ever made, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that about The Last of Us. I'm saying if that same scenario was placed within Halo, with how I'm about that franchise, I could just imagine how I could see why some people feel the way that they feel about this game, and that's why they've came out and said what they've said. So now saying like again, I'm not saying that the game is bad or good or whatever. I'm just saying from that story aspect, when Livewire put that in perspective, I was like, oh shit, whoa, whoa, yeah, it would piss me off.
Nice. Now, Dred, you were trying to chime in real quick before I so rudely cut you off.
No,
man.
no.
So
Super chats have priority. No, what I was going to say was, so it seems like they're starting to run into the conundrum of Ubisoft, where they're doing the same game but different name.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
I would say
you're
that except
absolutely
for
right.
the shock value, or supposed shock value of The Last of Us 2. There's supposed to be some shock value there to separate it, but in the end, at its foundation, and it's something I've been saying about first party when it comes to PlayStation almost this entire generation, is they have a blueprint that their first party their first party studios follow, that I really can't get with. Like I want diversity in that first party portfolio. And
I think some games have diversity though. I think like Days Gone is definitely not the God of War template or the the Last of Us template.
Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn is not like that either.
Yeah,
Horizon Zero Dawn's not like that. I think even Uncharted 4 wasn't like that. So I think
you're stretching now.
Yeah.
no, Uncharted.
Real
Uncharted
quick,
4
Dark,
wasn't
let me
like
ask
that.
you this question: Is there multiplayer in this game?
No.
No.
I thought Did they scrap it or they just push it?
No,
back?
they're gonna make it.
I think they're gonna make it, but I'm not sure. I don't.
And they're gonna charge you for it, K Mega. Like I said,
Probably. I mean,
We'll-
it
We'll
makes
see how that
sense.
works. We'll see how that works.
There's a
hold
game on
I
the
thought I
line.
was the one saying it was going to be
no,
charged.
don't
We
you
gotta-
dare switch it up.
No, no. We got to go back and check those tapes on that.
Gotta
We
go
got to
back.
check the tapes on that because that's not. I'm not saying that that's going to be. Because I'm the one that said that it's going to charge. You saying something else.
But
I said
people,
they're going to
people
charge it
also
as a
gotta
standalone game.
People
Oh, no,
also
no,
got to
no.
remember that
we got to go to the tape on that. Get those
that this-
receipts. Because
that
I
this
know I
game-
said that.
people also got to remember that this game wasn't written completely by Neil Druckmann either. It was also written
Neil
by.
doesn't want people to know that, by the way. Though.
Yeah, I
Neil's
know.
has a little bit of an ego, people.
He does, very much so. But it wasn't just written by him; it was written by somebody else, and that person is actually in film as well. Kaylee Gross, I think is her name. She's also an actress. So it makes sense that
Does
it's.
she get credit in the game? Does she get credit for her work?
She
on
does.
it? Okay.
She does. Yeah,
That's
but
good.
it's definitely.
Does she have a sex scene in the game?
No, it's definitely a cliched story.
Okay. All right, I got you, man. And you know, we got to top this off with Spider-Man here, okay? Again, Dark, thank you for your input. I think you really kind of dove in as somebody who played the game, which I guess is now another stipulation about talking about a game.
Well, I think you can talk about it if you're talking about story-wise, but if you're talking about gameplay, I think you really do have to play it in order to really grasp what's going on.
I hear that, but there's so many people who talked about like games that were coming out on Xbox that never played it, said it was absolute trash, didn't really give any explanations.
Those guys are just trolling and just being bitches about everything. So
stop being bitches, people.
Don't pay them any mind.
Don't
like,
be that bitch.
Dark, we've heard enough from you. We're moving on.
Okay, all right, we're moving on. Guys, I definitely want to talk about this before we sign off. Now, with the PS5 reveal, the first thing that they came out with, besides GTA 5, the first kind of like real thing that they came out with was Spider-Man Miles Morales. And of course, you know, Spider-Man, hugely popular character. When it came to Spider-Man PS4, a lot of PlayStation 4 owners have and absolutely love that game. But within all that, you know, they showed, you know, bits and pieces, you know, they showed their trailer. Within all that, there was some confusion about what this game actually is. And some people were like, oh, it's a DLC that you're going to get with a remaster of Spider-Man. And there was so many things coming out. Now, what is being said from the actual developers are it's a standalone game, all right, in the same aspect as Lost Legacy when it comes to the Uncharted series. Now, if you go back and check out Lost Legacy, in terms of like runtime, game time, stuff like that, that game is about anywhere between a 5 to an 8.5. I'll even say anywhere between a 5 to a 9 hour game. Not only that, when talking about remaster, come to find out what Insomniac did here was they took the original assets of Spider-Man PS4 and then they added kind of like the ray tracing, you know, better textures, stuff like that. So at the base of Spider-Man Miles Morales, it's literally Spider-Man PS4. And I got to ask you guys, because the question came out, was Sony trying to deceive the public when it comes to what Miles Morales, what this game really was? And I'm going to put my 2 cents in real quick before, you know, the rest of the panel. I don't feel like they were intentionally trying to deceive, but I feel like they were being vague for a reason. Now, this is something that I have seen Sony do, you know, over this generation. They will be vague and let you come up with your own scenario of what this game is doing, what this game is going to be. And I think that's what they tried to do this time. But fortunately, people kind of called them out like, yo, well, what exactly is this? And another thing we don't know, is if this kind of like standalone, smaller game, dare I say, DLC, standalone DLC, dare I say that, if it's actually coming out to PS4 as well, because there's been nothing in terms, I haven't found any information on whether or not it's strictly on PS5 or if they are going to come out with the same thing on PS4 as well, because at its foundation, it's still Spider-Man PS4. So let's go to Dreadpool on this real quick. Now, Dread, when it comes down to it, do you feel like Sony was deceiving when it came to Spider-Man Miles Morales? What do you think about the game in terms of what Insomniac is saying about it being kind of like in the scope of Lost Legacy, which is a standalone DLC? What are your thoughts, man?
All right. I don't think Sony knew how to describe it as what it is. It was bad. It was a bad messaging, bad marketing on their part. Insomniac came back and clarified, it's a standalone game. I even asked a question, because, supposedly it's only for PS5, right? And we just got done hearing that Unreal Engine 5 is going to have an easy up convert from Unreal Engine 4, right? Mm-hmm. So my question to them was, why is it, like this? Is, because they added more to it and they refined it and whatever other stuff that they said that they did to it. But my thing was, what constitutes what the price is? What did you do to make it only a PS5 game from the PS4 game? Mm-hmm. Are you using the PS5 architecture? And I got blasted because, they're like, the Unreal Engine 5 isn't coming out yet. It hasn't been released for, towards the end of the year. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. That's the questioning, though. You got to question these guys. Why is it like this? If it was a game that can run on a PS4, why are you not letting it run on a PS4? Why are you locking it down to a PS5? What did you do to it?
Well, they did state that there is ray tracing, which, again, when it comes to the trailers that have been shown with the PS5 games and ray tracing, there are things I'm looking into now that, it's... we're dealing with Sony, again, from, like, the beginning of this generation that we're in now, I feel. Like, when it comes down to it, one of the things I didn't like was their marketing practices, how vague they were, how they kind of left it up to the consumer to make up, what the blueprint is of said game or console or something like that. They really, the less that they say, the better they feel, is kind of like the feeling I get from them. And, so there is ray tracing to a certain extent and stuff like that. What do you think about the offering, Dredd? Do you think this is a good offering, something that should kind of like push people more towards PS5, knowing it is a smaller game and knowing that the foundation of this game is inherently a PS4 game, just with added bells and whistles? Because from what I heard, PlayStation guys don't like just added bells and whistles and graphics. They want more, man.
See, and that's where I'm torn. I see it as a good game to get you to switch over. Now, on the other side, is it worth it? That's the other part. Is did they do enough to this game to make it justifiable to buy a $500 console? You know what I'm saying? Is this game alone enough, like it was with the original Spider-Man that came out? That was justifiable. But what price was that? That was what, $250, $300? Was it even $200 at one point in time for a sale? Mm-hmm. So if you didn't have a console, that was a great time to buy. If you already have a console now, what's going to happen with the next console? Is this enough for an average gamer? Okay, most of us are buying it day one, right? Some of us are buying it a little bit later. But for the casual, is that enough? Even as a Spider-Man fan, was that, $500 enough to get behind that door to play that game? And that's really what stems from it is did they do enough to justify, and what is going to be the price? Is it a $40 game? Is it a $60 game? Did they do enough work to justify the extra $20 to be a full price game?
That's a great question right there. And when it comes down to it, Dredd, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm going to be 100% honest with the panel in the chat. What I'm thinking is going on here is Spider-Man is such a name. It draws people in that aren't even gamers when it comes down to it. There were people that bought the Spider-Man PS4, the console, just because it was Spider-Man. And the way I'm seeing it is Sony was like, man, we need to have that Spider-Man name there at the beginning of this console launch to get those people that aren't even gamers or anything like that to kind of think about investing in the PS5 because there's something Spider-Man right there. What do you think about that, bro?
I agree with you. That's what I'm getting at. That's why it's one. I'm double-edged sword. I kind of want, that's the reason why to buy it. That's the reason why to do that, right? But at the same time, they're leaving it so vague that we're interpreting whatever we want to hear to ourselves.
Yes.
And that's the problem. They're not marketing what they can do or what they're not doing. We're interpreting what we want to hear. So you got the naysayers and the yaysayers, each hearing their own version of it. And eventually they'll come out and give us enough information. And that's what I've been asking for a lot of times, is a little bit more clarity for this stuff. That's why I asked them directly, are you using Unreal Engine 4? And is that why you're going to Unreal Engine 5? Is this how you're doing this? No answer. But he answered before that it's a standalone game. Because I'm like, is this a la Lost Odyssey? Yes, it's a standalone. Okay.
Wow.
But he's not answering. He's not answering.
Man.
Yeah, they're not answering the full question when you're asking certain specifics. And I get it. At the same time, you don't want to release too much information. That's part of the thing. Are we not talking about it now? They got us nail biting, trying to find out what's going on and if we want to buy this. But like you said, the casuals that don't know anything about gaming, but they love Spider-Man, the little kid, little 7-year-old Jimmy is going to want it. Jenny's also going to want it too, because she's the older sister. She's into that too, because she's into, been brought up with comics too. So she knows a little bit about something.
Dread, especially Miles Morales. I think when it comes down to it, we can argue that Miles Morales, when it comes to the newer generation of Spider-Man fans, it's all about Double M, yo. It's all about Miles. He is Spider-Man. So, I look at it as marketing. Sony's like, oh, man, we got to get something out there. And Insomniac's like, well, we can just use the assets from Spider-Man PS4. We can make a Miles Morales game. It's going to take about 2 years or so, which, according to the developer, that's basically how much time it took creating this. And there you go. It took basically, around half the time it would take to make a full-fledged game. A full-fledged game, you think 3 to 4 years for a full-fledged $60 title. This took half of that to make it. Yeah.
You see, and this is where I'm okay with it. Okay, and that's the funny thing, because if you put back to the sports analogy, right? Madden every year is Madden, $60 every year. But what were the changes so minute? You might as well just base it off the same game, which they have, and just put in the tweaks. So this is what they're doing here. They're basing it off the same game. Didn't we do that with ODST? Oh yeah, that's right. So yet again, same thing. It's a if you tweak it out, you expand on what you already have. You don't have to put as much effort into building a whole new game from the get-go. You just add on to that story, or add a whole new side story that goes along with the lore that you're involved in.
I hear you with the ODST part. I hear you, no doubt, and that makes perfect sense. My whole thing is, though, this is for the launch of a new console. So how would I feel? How would I feel if they came out with Halo 3 ODST at the launch of the Xbox One? That's where the thing. I'm like,
you know it, okay? The next person that knows Halo, and mom and dad or brother or whoever, grandparents, are buying it for Halo because
they just see Halo.
They just see Halo. They know that the last Halo was awesome. The last few Halos were awesome. So what are they going to do? They're going to buy it anyway, regardless. They're not going to go into the research that we've been asking.
Yo, dude,
it's going to happen.
You are making some absolute sense right here. I do want to get the rest of the panel involved. I definitely want to go to Predator on this. I love the way you think sometimes. So I am really interested, when it comes to something like this, I'm always really interested on your take. We saw what we saw with the PS5 reveal. Later on, information came out comparing it to Lost Legacy. You heard what I said about the assets, basically using the Spider-Man PS4 and then just putting the bells and whistles on top of that for, what could be a 5 to 9 hour game. Pred, in your opinion, did they mislead the public? And what do you think about this information so far, bro?
I think they did. And the mindset I'm thinking of from the sales perspective, like you come out with a brand new console. If you take Spider-Man out of the mix, from what we know right now from the launch, or what games they have coming out, like, how do you feel about that launch lineup if you take Spider-Man out of it? Look at it that way.
Snacks.
Oh, yeah.
Like that launch lineup isn't really there to me. Like there's nothing there. Like if they'd have pushed back, The Last of Us or Ghost of Tsushima and made those launch titles specifically only on PS5, including Spider-Man and everything else they have coming out, that would have been awesome. That would have been a great launch lineup. But they had to have something for the summer, right? So they came out with those 2 games, and then they throw Spider-Man in there. And even if it's a 5-hour game, 9-hour game, 10-hour game, whatever you want to call it, that name is going to sell consoles. And that's why they did that. That's why they pushed it out there. And from my standpoint, from the business side of it, like if you have something like that to put out there, you put that on the box, you put that, only on PlayStation 5, et cetera, that's a console seller. That's a system seller. Even though it's just, in our eyes, it feels like it's this DLC to Spider-Man, the other Spider-Man they had out earlier. Average Joe, who isn't a hardcore gamer, isn't going to know that. They're going to walk in there.
Exactly who they're targeting right now.
They're going to walk in there. They're going to see Spider-Man labeled on the box. Get this with your PlayStation 5. Maybe have a bundle deal with it or whatever. Maybe a controller, even a custom console, which I don't think they're going to go that far yet. But like you bundle that in with the game, and people think they're getting a brand new Spider-Man that's like, a 20-hour experience, and they're not going to get that. No. Now they're invested in the system. Now they're invested in the console. And in some people's eyes, they just basically upgraded. They can play all their PlayStation 4 games, hoping they can play their PlayStation 4 games on the PlayStation 5 that they just purchased, but they don't know what they don't know because they're not in the know like some of us are. Like they're not thinking that far ahead. We don't, like you just said earlier, we don't know if this is a PlayStation 4 game. I don't think it is, but it just looks like it's an upgraded PlayStation 4 game for the PlayStation 5. And
Yo, Pred, just real quick, because I'm thinking, like, as you're talking, I'm taking your words in, and something just popped into my head. Xbox and 343 from a very early time basically said that, the next Halo will be the next gen experience. You know what I'm saying? They said it's coming out for the next console, all that good stuff, way in advance. Like, if I were Sony, I'd be like, all right, well, what name do we have at the launch of the system that could compete with that? And one of the first names that pop into your head, if you're going beyond gaming, right? Because Halo is big beyond gaming as well. Comic books, regular books, toys, all that good stuff. The name that Sony has in that space is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, honestly, we need something. I honestly Spider-Man.
Thought they were gonna try and push out a God of War. I thought that would have been their response, or at least had we had E3 this year and had they shown up. You know how my stance is with Sony when it comes to their games. They talk about them super early and they drag it out the whole generation.
Oh, I hear they have a God of War 2 trailer waiting for after
Xbox's event, yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me, and that's what they do. Like they release a trailer.
Dude, that game's like 3 years out though.
Exactly, and they did that this last generation though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they showed you games that they hadn't even gotten ready for. They weren't even like, and they pushed them back, or like you didn't see those games that were announced early in for like another 3 years. So that's what they do. They get you hyped up for it. You buy the console, and now you're invested in the ecosystem. And they just throw a trailer out there every year to keep you like, it's like fishing.
It's coming.
You throw that line out there every now and then, and somebody something's gonna bite it, and that's what they do. Like, I mean, if that's their business strategy, I'm not knocking them for it because obviously it worked. So
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna do the same. Like they did the same thing here. They gave you something to get you invested in the system, and then they're gonna feed you throughout the generation of these games. Because like if you look at their event, a lot of those, let's say, okay, I'm gonna take Bug Snacks out of the mix here, but
how dare you?
a lot of those games
Mega's crying
like,
right now, man.
a lot of those games didn't really have a release date for it, or even a year in some cases. Like,
Did
it just
you
showed
say
the
something
game.
about Bug Snacks?
Don't make fun of my avatar. But if you think about it, though, like, I mean, Spider-Man, when they showed that, and they showed GTA 5 that had a release date, Spider-Man had a release date. But after that, everything was like 2021, no release date, whatsoever. Like, they didn't put a release date on a lot of the stuff. They just, not even a year. Like, they just showed it. And so,
shout out to
that was a
Doggy
problem.
Dog. I am so sorry to cut you off, man, but Doggy Dog said, "Hell, I heard the SSD gives a slow jack and a ball rub." Oh my goodness, he caught me. He caught me on
Father's Day,
that.
man. Hey,
Yeah, it's Father's
I'll take
Day.
it.
There you go.
I'll take it. But I'll say this: I think them launching with that game is good for them, business wise. Taking the tinfoil hat off and the console war hat off, like. You come out with a game like Spider-Man, and it was so much success with the other one. Why not feed off of that, and put something out there that people are going to want, and it just makes me more anticipating, like, the Xbox event coming up in July, because
I'm
they have to
hearing some
respond to this
crazy
now.
shit about that event, man.
They have to respond to this now. We got plenty of time to talk about that before July, so we'll save that for later. But they have to respond to what Sony did, and they have plenty of time to respond to it. Let's hope they do.
Yo, Hyper Light Drifter, I hope you really don't think the PS5 hate when it comes down to it. Yo, at the end of the day, I want both of these companies to do well because of the competition factor. When it comes to what I'm seeing here, again, I am not going to sugarcoat things on either side when it comes down to it. If Xbox shows Halo and it turns out to be kind of like a standalone DLC of Guardians or something like that, you're gonna hear the same. You're gonna hear the same thing from me there that you're hearing here as well. I want to make sure that the gamers and the consumers out there know what they are investing in before they invest in it. Like, I have gotten people coming at me on Twitter and stuff like that saying, well, we're going to know when the game comes out. And I'm like, well, if you're like me and you have to budget things out a certain way, and put so much money towards entertainment, you want to know kind of like the value you're getting before you buy it.
Look at it this way. Okay, you launch both consoles. Let's say both consoles launch on the same day, right? And the first thing you're gonna look at is the launch lineups, right? Is it worth spending, $600, on either? So let's say average. Let's say the consoles are $500 each, right? Mm-hmm. You can play those same games on the PS5. I'm sorry, on the PS4 or the Xbox One X, right? But you get to bring your library with you from the Xbox side. PlayStation 5, you have to buy all brand new games, and their launch lineup isn't that good.
Well, they said they're gonna have backwards compatibility,
at some point. Yeah, I mean, we'll play that game too. Let's say they bring backwards compatibility, okay? But
we'll play that.
But what's the launch lineup gonna be like if it's just Spider-Man and Bug Snacks? I mean, like,
Bug Snacks.
Is that worth $500 to you?
Taylor, man, you better watch your tone, Fred.
Hey, man, look at my avatar.
Okay,
it's all about that strawberry life, man. Come on.
So
no. Like, it's about them ribs that was running around. That's what I'm talking about.
Like if the launch lineup is better on one console, let's say you're on the fence picking up either one, right? But the launch lineup on one console is just Spider-Man and Bug Snacks and a bunch of multi-plats, and then you look over the Xbox side and they've got Halo, Forza, and I hate to say Halo, Forza, Gears, but Halo, Forza, and they have like another game coming out maybe January. Like you have release date games, Fable, right? Let's start with those three, right? And it runs better and it's cheaper. Like, it's like a no-brainer to me if I'm on the fence picking between one or the other console, because Sony's games are going to come out. The games that are actually going to use the system outside of your DLC for Spider-Man and Bugsnax. The games you're looking for the use that hardware, they're going to release later. They're going to come out later in the generation or in the middle generation, like they typically always do. So I'm going to go with the Xbox side first, and then I'm going to go with the PlayStation side second, because I want a custom PlayStation console anyway. I don't want that white fucking brick tall ass motherfucker they got. I may even wait for the slim release of that console before I go into that ecosystem. But if you're a hardcore PlayStation guy, you're going to go balls to the wall and pick it up anyway, which brings another question into play. How available are these consoles going to be in the first place?
Oh, that is a good question, because I worked at GameStop in 2013, and I don't know if a lot of people remember it, but PlayStation, it was hard to get a PS4 in the beginning. Like, they sold out fast. We didn't get a lot of them, and it was something that GameStop was dealing with for that year. Like, we had waiting lists. We had to call people when they were coming in, all that good stuff. I don't think a lot of people remember that. There was an issue where, and I'm not saying, like, it seemed like, at least to me and other people that were working at the GameStop I was working at, it seemed like Sony was trying to pull a Nintendo in terms of creating more hype for the console by only shipping a few out at a time. All right, and that is another really good question, Pred. Now, Pred, I got to get the rest of the panel involved as well.
Go ahead, man.
All right, so let's go to Crispy. Crispy's been quiet, and we haven't even heard him kind of chime in under his breath or anything like that. It's been kind of weird. Crispy, are you there?
I am here.
Oh, Crispy. Now, you heard all the information when it comes to, Spider-Man Miles Morales. I got to ask you, do you think that Sony was trying to be deceptive on purpose when it comes to what this game really is? What are your thoughts, bro?
Let's be honest for a second. Sony's done this many, many times before.
Watch Dogs, 1080p, 60 frames per second, brother.
They will continue to do it, and I'm actually going to go against what you said. They are absolutely being deceptive. This is the way they roll. Okay, they were caught off guard in December of last year. Okay, they were caught off guard, and now you have an IP as far as gaming that you own, okay? And you probably, I mean, let's be honest, they've been in development. I think it was originally a DLC, and that's where I think they're all of a sudden.
I'm actually there with you on that, brother, but go ahead. I am right there with you.
Okay, and the reason why I have a problem with the whole spiel is not the Miles Morales game. I think he deserves a standalone title. But the problem is you said it's 5 to 10 hours. Okay.
Possibly. They're kind of like they're pointing towards Lost Legacy, and again, Insomniac said that's not necessarily in terms of time, just in terms of size. So you got to take. I'm trying to give out all the information here, bro. But like,
and I appreciate it. But here's the other issue I have. Is that you're not okay? What makes money nowadays? Maybe not years ago, but what makes money nowadays?
Hookers.
As far as gaming companies.
Hookers
and blow.
Correct. Software. Anybody disagree with me? Software.
No, software.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's exactly what I said.
All right. So you have 115 million people. Hypothetically, but it's probably right around there perfectly, that have your PS4 console, that have Spider-Man, okay? And keep in mind, let's everybody remember, I've played a lot of Spider-Mans. I mean, this is the only one that people actually liked. Just let you know.
So most people liked, yeah.
No. I'm just saying.
My personal experience with it, after playing it, I had no problem selling my PS4.
And I mean that's like I went off of you because I'm like there's only certain titles that I would buy a PlayStation for, but What I'm saying is that you have a ton of people that you haven't clarified what's going on, and they still haven't. You can sit here and tell me they have. They still haven't said, "Oh, it's you can get it on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5." They haven't clarified anything. This is total Sony marketing tactics. They're probably going to say right before they launch the console, "Oh, you can only get Miles Morales on the PlayStation 5." Well, what about people that already have the damn game? What about those people? And that's where I go and say, you know what? You want to go old school? That's cool. But we're in new school status. I'm sorry. People aren't going to be, we got social media now. We got all this stuff. You got to be relevant. And you know what? You're going to have your people throwing the hats and saying, "Oh, this is the greatest thing in the world. We're getting this." But what about those people that don't want to or just bought a PS4 Pro or whatever the hell they have, and they don't want to upgrade? Are you just going to leave them aside? That makes no business sense to me, because you're making more money off the software. I don't understand it. Just clarify it, PlayStation. Just say, "Hey, it's only on PlayStation 5 or whatever." But it's a freaking DLC. It's 5 to 10 hours. God, Ram's Shadow was free if I had the season pass in Gears 3, and it was 5 to 10 hours.
Oh.
And it was actually better than half of the freaking game.
Oh.
Okay? Because you started out, you saw Rom just walk up out of the freaking the emergence hole and just was like, "Yeah, I'm taking over this shit." And it was just cool.
If nobody
You know what I
wants
mean?
to say it, I will. Crispy found a way to bring it to Gears.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he did it. Yeah.
Ram's Shadow, if you've played it, you know what I'm talking about.
Hey man, we got our Crispy on GRG, this PK live, man.
Gears guy?
Instead of bringing it, no, Pokemon guy.
What?
I don't know how I was wondering where he was doing it.
Crispy, I don't know if that's a compliment or...
That is a compliment, because Pokemon's really popular. So, I mean, he loves Nintendo more than anything. But he brought it home, though. I was like, where are you going with this?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you right now, that's the problem I have with PlayStation, is they continue to throw shit right up your own ass, even though you're trying to shit it back out. And I'm telling you right now.
That's a horrible picture, by the way, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to continue to do it until you call them out. Because I've called it out on Xbox. I've called it out on PlayStation way before we're even doing these podcasts. And I've got nothing for PlayStation. I've got more responses from Xbox. And that's because they're trying to make it better. PlayStation is trying to do the same damn thing over and over again. And Spider-Man, I mean, let's be honest. That is a world-renowned name. Everybody fucking knows it. Okay? How many billions have they made off their, just Sony owning the movie rights? They've made billions upon billions. Okay? And
they
the
had
funny
a company
thing is,
called Disney by the balls at one point in time for the MCU and Spider-Man. So,
the funny thing is Fahey was, or Fahey, whatever the hell you want to call him, was making that Spider-Man too, by the way. That's why they still have a partnership with Marvel, because they don't know how to make a freaking damn movie. They just don't.
Feige.
Yeah.
Feige. Almost like 5G, but French. Oh man, I think I just demonetized this show now because I said the number and the letter. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. We don't want that. I mean, T-Mobile was already putting COVID-19 things on our
damn.
Our phones
we're just doubling down right now. Okay.
You made sure. You made sure of it.
You're making no money on this video.
Dude, my past two live streams have been demonetized anyway. Like I
didn't say the beer name. I'm good. I didn't say the beer name.
Yo, Dark. I wanna get Dark in on this real quick. Dark. I'm very interested on this because you can go all in and you can be really kind of like attached to a topic, and then you definitely have the ability to flip the coin and be like, I don't really give two shits. So I'm wondering exactly where you're going to be on this with the Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Did Sony, were they being deceptive when it comes to this game and announcing it, showing what it is to the gamers with the PS5 reveal?
I wouldn't call it deception. I would call it trick marketing. That's deception. I would call it trick marketing. I would say it's definitely trying to appeal to people who they knew were gonna watch this and be like, we're gonna get these people to buy this console just off of this game
Just off the
alone.
name, like that's
Just
it.
off the name alone. I am concerned that they won't do Miles Morales justice.
Woo!
That's my biggest
He
concern
deserves
because I
a
think
whole game, man.
he does. He's one of my absolute favorite Spider-Man of all time. I think he's probably my favorite Spider-Man of all time. Just in terms of just how he interacts with the bad guys, how he just how he is. Period. In the
Overall
comics and
personality, demeanor,
personality.
everything like
Yeah,
that.
definitely. Even the
Okay.
okay. Even the movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, dude, that movie was awesome. So
Yes.
I'm very concerned to see what they're gonna do with Miles Morales in the game. They did him right in the Spider-Man game,
Mm.
but with him having his own standalone, I just hope they do, they give him his due, and I think 5 to 10 hours. That's how Lost Legacy was, but when that game came out, it was only $40. So I'm wondering if this one's going to be like $30 to $40 as well. That's a little concerning. If it is $60, then that's kind of that's definitely
That's a
not going
cash
to work
grab
for a
right
lot.
there.
Yeah, that's a cash grab. But I think if it's like 30 or 40, I think it'll be fine. 5 to 10 hours for story, I could see, but I think when they did Lost Legacy, the story wise, yes, it was 5 to 10 hours, somewhere on there,
Mhm.
and but they had so many elements of like being able to explore and explore side quests and things like that um, drew out the game a little bit more. So I could see that this game doing that as well. Will it push people to buy a PS5? I don't think so.
You don't think it'll push people to buy a PS5?
No, I really don't.
I'm looking at you crazy right now. If you were my microphone, I'm just saying.
Especially if Halo comes out this year with the Series X. That's like in gaming wise, Halo is like the almost the pinnacle of like of first person shooters on Xbox.
Dude, if
like that is
if 343 can win back like some of that Halo community,
they have to.
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be something.
Yeah. They definitely have to show something that people are going to be like yes, and it's going to have to be thrown out there with word of mouth as well. People are still going to be skeptic about it even when it comes out and it does get people talking about it. People are still going to have to be like, hey, go buy this game because you're going to be missing out on something really special if it does turn out to be that type of game. But I think the whole thing, if it's a glorified DLC for Miles Morales, why didn't they just put it in the Spider-Man?
I'm taking
DLC?
I'm taking them for their word real quick. Now you started talking about Lost Legacy.
No, that's the thing. Lost Legacy was supposed to be a DLC.
Well, it was labeled as a standalone DLC. That's why people in the chat. That's why you're hearing.
Not in the beginning though.
Not
in the beginning. In the beginning, Lost Legacy was actually supposed to be just DLC for Uncharted 4. And then they turned it into a standalone game.
Exactly.
So I'm wondering if this is the same similar situation where this was supposed to be on the PS4, but since they were like, oh shit, the PS5 is coming, let's make this a standalone game coming to PS5.
Sony and Insomniac, they pointed us in the direction of Lost Legacy. So they're basically they're asking for these types of questions now.
They're asking for these types of. Well, they're also giving us these types of games, as you notice. Like, they're like saying, "Oh, well, you guys don't have." They're telling the developers, "You don't have to make a full-on game out of this. Why don't you make like a single game, but make it smaller, like we did with Lost Legacy. Do something like that." But Lost Legacy kind of proved that didn't really work out very well, because Lost Legacy was good, but it was nothing compared to Uncharted 4. And it was also nothing compared to, and it got a lot of backlash because of what? Because I hate to say this, but because there was female leads, they got a lot of backlash for that. From people. I'm not gonna say it, but from people. But we'll just say that. But goes to show you that also it didn't work out because it didn't give people this satisfaction that they got from a big game like Uncharted 4, which was like $60. So it's going to be interesting to see what Spider-Man Miles Morales.
What was the title you gave? What type of marketing was this again? Do you remember? Like, because I gotta remember that.
God, what did I say? I said
deceptive.
No.
He said that was.
Damn.
I said.
Somebody in the chat. What type of marketing did?
Trick marketing.
Trick marketing.
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta remember that, dude. I'm probably gonna tweet that at you at some point in time. And just be like, trick marketing, man.
Yeah, trick marketing, bro.
Which is deception.
I look at it as sleight of hand.
Dude,
yeah, sleight of hand.
I went to school for marketing and graphic design. That's deception. Marketing is deception. All right. Unless you have like they're putting all the cards on the table and they're just saying, you know what, this is our product. I
also went to school for marketing, and I call it trick marketing.
Trick.
No, you're right. It is deceptive marketing.
It's going back to hookers, people.
It's definitely deceptive, but I think in the long run, we're really gonna have to see where they take Spider-Man. Miles
Dark,
Morales.
do you see that super chat?
Yeah.
Dude, shout out the person and read that. Read it out loud.
Sir X-Man, $2 is Trick
marketing. Trick marketing. Don't try to play it.
Is trick marketing like fake news? Yep, pretty much.
Oh, okay. All right. There you go, Sir X-Man. Straight from the guy who came up with trick marketing. You guys should definitely tweet that to Dark Optimus right now.
He can't type very well.
Why you gotta mess with my boy X-Man? I'm saying. Yo, let's get K Mega in on this. I have a feeling he was itching to get in on this topic ever since we started. K Mega, you saw the trailer as well as many, everybody else here. You heard the information that came out from Sony Insomniac in terms of what this game is. So, in your humble opinion, was Sony purposely being deceptive here when it comes to what Spider-Man Miles Morales is as a game?
Sony fans, you need to cut off and leave the show right now because I'm going to keep it real. So I'm just letting you know right now.
I think Chris is leaving already, man.
This is all in the plans. This was all in the works. This is why they were indefinitely going to take The Last of Us 2 and make it be a launch title because they knew that their launch lineup was going to be weak. That's a fact. I don't want to hear any bullshit of anything like that. That's the reason why it was indefinite. They were going to put that game as a launch title so it could compete against Halo.
But the leaks.
Huh?
The leaks. Go ahead.
But the leaks changed all of that. That's what also makes me to believe that Sony, with their lying asses, Shahir was trying to say, "Oh no, this wasn't somebody from the inside." People from the inside knew what Sony was trying to do, and they weren't trying to wait to get their money. They want their money now. So they were like, man, and then some people, and then so all this other stuff, people, the one thing about stands, not about the PlayStation fans, but the stands, they don't open their mouth and ask for anything. You just got to take somebody like Dreadpool, like Pred, or somebody else to ask these questions, and then the first thing you hear back is, oh, you're a hater of PlayStation because Xbox got no games. No, it's because you assholes don't open your fucking mouth. You don't say anything. You just get and take whatever they give you, and because it looks pretty, it's good enough for you. There's no questions or anything. It's a fact. You know what I'm saying? So again, this is just Sony just doing Sony. They keep getting away with it, and there's nobody to do it. I guarantee you, if Xbox did that type of shit, everybody would be jumping on their ass. Everybody. And there would be Xbox fans out there that would they'll shut their mouth and would try to defend for it too. But the overall consensus of people will be in Xbox's ass to where they would have to make changes. Case in point, just all you got to look about no gameplay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, probably one of the most epic episodes of Next Podcast ever. You know what I'm saying? So it just comes to me. It's just funny as hell. I remember when the PlayStation 2 first dropped, and I got it, and then they had this game called The Bouncer. Loved that game. Thought that game was hot. But when you look at it, you see the graphics. Oh man, you got in there, you start playing, and then like about 3 hours later, it was over. Like what? Like what the hell is this? This is the same thing that's going to happen with fans that is expecting that this is going to be, because Sony says that it's a standalone game, or Insomniac says it's a standalone game, that they're thinking they're going to get the same type of experience like they got through the regular Spider-Man. And while Otter is not saying it, I'm going to say it. The one reason why he don't think the Spider-Man is going to sell like well, because the person on the box doesn't look white.
Oh,
because the first Spider-Man is not going to look like Peter Parker.
That's not what I was going to go for.
But that's what I'm going for, because this is the same reason why they hated on Locke. This, you know what I'm saying? Miles Morales got a lot more deep. Me and Otter was talking about that on Twitter the other day. He has a lot more backstory than Locke does. But the point of the matter is that you just heard him say that people got pissed off for Lost Legacy because there were women leads. We still had that type of same bullshit in gaming with certain people that just don't like change. And the fact of it is, it needs to be more change and stuff like that. And I feel that Sony is assholes for here coming out talking about Black Lives Matter, but on the other side giving us a half-assed, baked-ass goddamn game. That's bullshit to me. That is bullshit to me. Give Miles Morales the respect due that he deserves. He has a plenty enough background where a lot of Marvel Spider-Man fans know and love.
Dude,
and
with the younger generation,
yes,
he is more popular than Peter Parker is.
Because Peter Parker's old, yeah.
Dude, I will agree with you that there is definitely a community out there. You know, the Peter Parker community. There's definitely people out there because of Peter Parker's skin color. That's why he's the more popular one. That's the one they grew up with and stuff like that. But I will argue to say that the younger generation coming up, Miles Morales is Spider-Man. He is Spider-Man. That next generation coming up. And I will say that Sony, they just wanted to throw that Spider-Man name out there with the younger generation, Miles Morales. They just wanted to have it done in time for the launch of the PS5, and I think that's why.
Why do you think that Miles Morales' comic books are called Ultimate Spider-Man? Just saying.
Yeah, because
he's the ultimate, dude. That's why.
Okay.
We got a Miles fan right here, man.
I get it, but see, that's the thing to me that discouraged me. And look, I even said that I'm going to, because of there were situations that popped up. I kind of forgot what it was, but it discouraged me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to support that. I'm going to support that game, and I'm going to buy a couple of copies of it and pass it out. And so for me, for my wallet, you know what I'm saying? I hope it is $40 or less. You know what I'm saying? Because, but I'm going to support that game because it should be supported for the fact that we need more diversity in gaming. I've always preached that. I will continue to preach that. And don't give a shit about what any racist ass gamer has to say. Kick rocks, bitch. Nobody needs you in the gaming community. We need more. We need more of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We've been playing as white people and Asians for fucking millennia. I feel like it's been forever. You know what I'm saying? Damn near for hundreds of years. Feel like I want. You know what I'm saying? It feels good.
I'm definitely sick and tired of playing whitey. Definitely.
Well, I'm not. I mean, I don't mind it. I've been used to it, but I'm saying some of these people need to get used to playing with somebody else. With a female lead with others. So I think that part is great. this other thing though with Sony, if the game is going to be $60, then they're going to just try to stamp it on and say, oh well, it's
Well,
we
they haven't
put
said
ray
price,
tracing.
man. I got to go with 40 on this one.
Listen, we don't know what Sony's going to do. We don't know.
I'm trying to talk with some common sense, though.
How much was Lost Legacy?
Oh, jeez.
40. It was 40 bucks.
Yeah, it was 40 bucks. 40 bucks. But we're talking about launch games, and then on top of that,
they're license too.
Exactly, and we're also talking about they're talking about adding enhancements to it. So them saying, hey, well, this ray tracing is worth that extra $20. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know what Sony's going to do. The right thing for them to do is make it $40 bucks.
Spider-Man remaster there.
Right. And then and then will be the biggest slap in the face is if that game, right, it's only on PS5, and then they say, well, it got a couple of million, it got us a couple of million consoles sold or whatever. Here in about six months to a year, we can put it on the PlayStation 4. How do you think that's going to make the people who sit there and do that? I don't put nothing past Sony like that, bro. And I know that people say, oh, yeah, you hate Sony. No, I don't. But their practices are shitty. And
if they did that would be some fucked up shit.
No, this is what they're going to do. This is what I think they're going to do. They're going to take some of these titles from this previous generation, and when they put them on PC and upgrade them to the PC graphics, they're going to make them. They're going to sell it as a remaster on PlayStation 5.
Oh yeah, no, that's perfect. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, that's what there's going to be their point of backwards compatibility. They're still going to have some of those games to come out that the bigger titles they said that they were. But I don't know if they're going to do that like right off the bat where people are going to have to wait to where they can get as much money off of that as they possibly can so they can try to get as many PlayStation 5s out there. So I don't know, like they're when I found out that they weren't going to do smart delivery, even though the companies are going to do like that with a certain amount of games, I'm like, okay, cool. But I don't know, man. Sony is going to try to make as much money as they possibly can. But overall, back to the Morales thing. I just felt like the character needed to be, they need to have it needs to be Spider-Man 2. I mean, if this was going to be DLC, I would prefer what Sony should have done is just make a Spider-Man remaster, sell it for $60, and then add the Miles Morales DLC for free. I think, or you know what I'm saying, that's what I think, because you're going to put the ray tracing and all that stuff on there. I thought that would be a better look, but it just comes to show that maybe Sony just doesn't have a really huge gaming lineup coming, so this is what they had to offer. I don't know who said that, but I agree with that point.
That was me.
And like I said, with The Last of Us 2, we've never seen Sony bring out two hot-ass games in a month apart from each other. The Last of Us 2 was going to be a launch title. It was going to get some polish, and it was going to look even better, and it was going to be a PS5 launch, and then you have Spider-Man, and then whatever else, and then you have the great bug snacks, and then Godfall, and that's a pretty solid. That's a solid ass lineup going against Halo and Forza and whatever else Halo has against it. So,
but now they have nothing against Halo.
Right, they got nothing against Halo because like Dark said, and this is the truth. I broke down these numbers on GRG last week. Spider-Man overall property, because of movies and comics and things like that, makes more money. But in the gaming space, Halo destroys Spider-Man. It's not even close. The last Spider-Man before this one came out didn't even break 1 million. You know what I'm saying? It didn't even break 1 million consoles sold. I mean, 1 million units sold, and it didn't even break overall. All the Spider-Man since came out hasn't even broke over 30 million. I was being generous when I said 30 million. It haven't even broke over 30 million. So while Halo is up there past 65, close to 70 million sold. So it's just crazy. And then when you look at the movie aspect of it, yeah, Spider-Man makes more money in the movies, but when Halo overall, with the money it generates, it's not too far off. So
another thing people don't think about too, like that Spider-Man,
yeah,
that Spider-Man that just came out. I know some people liked it, but some people didn't.
Far From Home?
No, not the movie. I'm talking about the game.
Okay.
Oh, really?
There were a lot of people who didn't like the way you switch characters and stuff like that. Like you had to at least I remember hearing it. I played it. Part. What's that?
The Mary Jane part.
Yeah, like there are parts of the game that people were turned off from.
Yeah.
and that might, even that point alone might make people not want to buy it. You know, they're turned off from it right now.
They're gonna have to put in a disclaimer: no Mary Jane, no Mary Jane parts in this one, like for it to go down.
Well, I don't know, but that's my point overall. I mean, Sony's strategy is worked for them. You can't deny it. It's just the reason why is because no, I don't like it either. But the reason why it works is because nobody asks any questions that matters. They don't. It was surprising that the media did go out and ask, because there were so many people asking, hey, what is the deal with this Spider-Man game? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? And so they did get the questions that they want. They finally asked the questions, but normally they don't go out and say anything. So that to me is the most disheartening part. It's like PlayStation fans always keep talking about these bangers and this and that and this and that, but when it comes to customer service and other situations, you guys are quiet as hell, but they want to have pitchforks because an Xbox looked like a damn VCR. Get out of here. Kick rock.
Yo, I gotta say, shout out to Sir X-Man. Brother, I did not forget about you. I actually froze my chat waiting to say your super chat. He says, voice to text sucks. He says, sorry about that. I was driving. And brother, you don't have to apologize to any man, especially on this panel. That's all I got to say about that, brother. When it's all said and done, you know, you're excited about PS5. You're excited about Miles Morales, Spider-Man. Be that. Yo, there's no problem there. But we are going to put the information out there so you are a well-informed consumer, and we are going to do this in July as well. When it comes to Xbox and what they show, we're going to have questions. We're going to say the questions on this show, and we are going to get down to the bottom of it. It's what we do here on Next Podcast. Guys, if there isn't any final things here, man, I think it's about time to wrap it up. You know, I got pizza waiting downstairs. I got games ready to be played. I don't think I'm going to sleep after the show this time.
2.5 hour podcast now, people.
Woo! In the books, baby. In the books. And I got to say, for the time that we have gone, it didn't feel like that long. Like, it kept flowing. Everything, you know, the opinions were out there. The chat has been absolute fire. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I really do appreciate it. Some of the comments, you guys caught me. Doggy Dog, you caught me with that SSD comment. Just everybody interacting with the show. It's been absolutely phenomenal. But, you know, it is that time. So like a 40-year-old with a comb over, we got to get those plugs in. And I am going to start with Predator because, you know, Pred, he wants to get out. He wants to, you know, play his games. He wants to do what he has to do. So Predator, you already know the drill, man. You're a professional at this. Let them know. Let them know where they can go to talk games and anything else you want to say for your outro, bro.
You always say that, and then we end up spending like an extra 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Podcast, so,
I know. It's Crispy's fault, by the way. He keeps us all together
it's
after.
all my fault.
Predator, space H2OS, pretty much everywhere on Twitter. Specifically, follow me there. You see all my links to everything that I do. Did a podcast with Salty, I think it was Thursday. Just kind of hopped in last minute with him. And I don't have anything planned coming up this week, but I will definitely see you guys next Saturday on the next podcast.
Nice, brother. And I gotta say, Dreadpool dropping that knowledge today, man. Yo, talking about the Panasonic big laser disc video game system and what you were talking about in terms of marketing with Spider-Man as well. Just dropping a whole bunch of knowledge, man. Why don't you let people know where they can go to talk games with you, brother? And of course, like I said, if there's anything you want to say for your outro, feel free. It's your time, bro.
Well, thank you for having me. The chat was awesome. It was great to see everybody interacting and you know, respecting each other with their opinions and listening. But you can find me on Twitter at Dreadpool. The O's are actually zeros. YouTube, Mixer, Gamertag, and Stadia, Dreadpool. All letters, all caps.
I love how he put Stadia in at the end with an emphasis, man. If there's anybody out there on Stadia, add this brother. Add him, man.
You know what's funny is I'm going to be one of the first ones to play Baldur's Gate. So there you go.
Nice.
Stadia gets the The exclusive on that one.
Dude, I would say I am very jelly right now, but I'm not. I'm just letting you know.
That's okay. Baldur's Gate's not for everybody.
No game is for everybody, man. But I'm glad you're enjoying it,
No.
bro. When Baldur's Gate, when you get a chance to go in and play it, you're gonna have to let us know what you think, bro.
I will do.
Nice.
Thank you.
And my brother from the West Coast, the Angry Otter himself, aka Goldblum, aka Frail Optimus, bro. Yeah, dude, I brought it back to before we went live, man. Yeah. But dude, really interesting to hear kind of like your insights when it comes to The Last of Us 2. You know, again, I am just starting to figure out your taste in games, but hearing your insight playing the game, giving a grounded opinion, I think that is something a lot of people in the chat really did appreciate. Why don't you let people know where they can go to continue that conversation with you, man, in terms of social media, and if you're appearing anywhere, anything you want to say for your outro, brother.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox and PlayStation at the same name. And I'm going to say this right now. I will be more critical of Spider-Man Miles Morales than I was of the original Spider-Man game that came out for the PS4. I will be overly critical of that game. If it turns out bad, I am going to throw the fucking PS5 out the goddamn window.
Damn. Just not your longboard skateboard. You're not throwing that out the window, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Nope. That's staying. That's definitely staying.
Dude, if he doesn't like it, he is cutting that mullet that he is rocking right now. He is shaving it off.
I will even drive all the way to Connecticut so that bot can shave it off for me.
Oh my goodness!
Whoa, you're gonna get teamed up on, bro.
He didn't say fly. He said drive. So.
Don't
Yeah,
worry,
I'll drive.
Man.
I'm not gonna fly.
I will bust out the rusty pair of clippers to do so, man. I swear.
No, they gotta be clean clippers, dude. Come on.
You know, I'll do
Get
that for you, brother.
shot.
He gonna lump your head up. God. Yeah.
I know he's gonna thrasky love me, man.
All right.
Shit.
All right. Well, that remains to be seen. I have never wanted a game to be not good in my entire life the way I want that game to be not good now. But yo, Crispy,
Such a bitch, but
shut the fuck up, man. Yo, Crispy, as usual, every Saturday you are definitely not afraid to share your opinions, man. You got fans in the chat. You got fans on Twitter. You got to let people know where they can go to talk games with you, brother. You are on multiple shows as well. You got to let them know about that. And anything else you want to say, brother?
Shout out to the chat, the panel, as always. Dread, you are a family member, in my opinion. Just saying. Oh, wait, you're already in the DM, so... You good, bro?
Yeah.
Don't ever put yourself in the chat. You are here unless you don't want to be. There might be some days where you don't want to.
Yo, K-Mega, I think he's recruiting without like anything from me here. I don't know. It's weird.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's my
man.
fault. I suggested Crispy should be on the panel, and that's my fault.
You fucked up. You fucked up, Otter.
Dark, I'm blaming you wholeheartedly, bro.
Dark thinks I'm Satan anyway, so it doesn't matter. He's like, you sound like Satan. I was like, should I take that as a compliment?
You
don't
should.
know.
That should be a compliment, damn it.
but in all seriousness, at Crispy Bob on Twitter. You can find me on Retro Renegade 7 p.m. Tuesday nights, Breakfast with Boom 10 a.m. Fridays, and the next podcast 7 p.m. And hit me up on Xbox Live, Crispy Bomb 28.
Nice, brother. Yeah, if you hit Crispy up, spam him with Minecraft invites. I think he would really like that.
Don't sleep on Grounded, bro.
Don't sleep on Grounded. You guys heard Predator and K-Mega almost get off the show just so they can keep playing that freaking game, man. That's all I gotta say right there. Yeah. But speaking of, let's get to K-Mega. K, yo, dude, I kind of felt like you were gonna go in strong on that last topic, but as usual, you went strong all the way throughout the show. It's something that people who come to Next Podcast every single week for as long as we've been on. It's something that, you know, I think a lot of people look forward to. It is always a blast to talk games with you every Saturday, brother. Why don't you let them know how you are tearing it up on Mixer right now? An update on your YouTube channel, social media. Yeah, dude, you already know the drill.
No doubt. Man, yeah, check the GRG podcast on Mixer every Friday night, 8:30 Central, the Lord's time, the true Lord's time.
Oh no,
Central
no,
time,
you
and
did
then,
not, yo.
East Coast time, where Satan is, because I think that's where that's I think that's where our boy is over there.
Yeah,
Chris.
damn, I can't argue with that.
And then on the other side, the atheist is over there on the West Coast. So, hey, man, you can check us out 9:30, 6:30. It's all good. We love everyone. We include everybody. So check us out. We like to have fun. You know what I'm saying? It's about getting no drama, but we just like to have fun, talk about gaming, and it is what it is. And sometimes when we go to a little bit extra, and what's really funny is because we went further. Bot has had longer shows than what GRG has been for the last couple of weeks. It's been crazy.
Damn, are you using that as a promotion right now?
As a
Bot goes
promotion,
longer than
so-
us.
Yeah. So anyway, go check us out on Mixer. It's KMega_45. We do have a thing that we do every Sunday called Friday nights, Fight Night Sundays, where we play different a couple of like 2 to 3, maybe even 4 fighting games all through the night. And then we got a bunch of people that come in. We have a female gamer, a couple of female gamers that come in.
People are afraid of.
That people are afraid of. Her name is Wicked Lady, but we know her as Vamp. When she comes in, all hell's gonna break loose unless it's Tekken Tag. I can whoop her ass in that. But yeah, come check us out there. That's like I think 8. That's 8 Central Time. So come check us out, and happy Father's Day to everybody out there. And then on Twitter at KMega4. Come check me out there. And then I will be out of YouTube hell at the beginning of the week. On the 23rd, I think I'll finally get out of YouTube
Getting
hell.
close,
so I can so I can go ahead and finally do that, and then promote the GRG shirt lineup. So you come out there and check us out, man. So thanks. As always, see you next week.
Nice. And as always, again, shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It is prime time on Saturday. And, gamers got a game, man. We got to get those controllers in our hands. If you haven't done it yet, definitely smack that thumbs up button if you are entertained tonight. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for, guys? There's plenty of news in the pipeline right now. I will be getting back to my weekly routine of putting out videos throughout the week. I usually aim for about three gaming news videos per week, as well as the Next Podcast show. So definitely hit that subscribe button as well. But I'm going to end the show the way I do every week. We will see you guys next Saturday for the Next Podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Peace.
I don't know why anybody watches GRG.
But that's why you keep making it come on.
Damn.